No question, those folks are cooler than the 40 drivers about to hit the Mid-Ohio circuit for today's 21st race of the 2015 calendar, the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200. What a view, what a place. And in 75 laps time, the drivers can relax like that. Deep in the heart of the Buckeye State, this famed road racing venue that has made so much history over the years is about to do some more. AJ Allmendinger, Chris Buescher, they've been celebrated as the winners over the past 2 years. Who's going to do it today as we take you to our nationwide starting grid? Alex Tagliani, his third Xfinity career pole, his first for Penske at this particular track, and the points leader, Chris Buescher, right alongside.
Yeah, quite the front row there. Got Ty Dillon in the second row here, really needing to get a victory this year, get himself right in the middle of this points battle. Moore said one of the ringers, road racers, he's in a great car. Had a great finish last week at Watkins Glen. Can he get it done today?
And he's got one more race after this at the 4-mile monster at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Brian Scott wasn't all that thrilled with his qualifying position, but remember this little statistical nugget. The winners over the past 2 years here, DJ, have come from a top 5 starting position, and Brian starts in the 5th spot.
Yeah, he led a lot of laps here last year. Would like to get that first Xfinity career win. Regan Smith feels good about his chances today. Really bummed out about what happened last week, and Ben Rhodes right beside him. Young man's got a lot of talent.
Ben Rhodes was one of the surprises, one of the revelation of qualifying. Daniel Suarez, who's had a hit-and-miss weekend, he's been off track and on, was pretty quick in qualifying, ahead of the veteran Elliott Sadler in the 1.
Yeah, Elliott always gets a lot out of his car on these road courses.
Bubba Wallace, Darrell Wallace Jr. had some electrical glitches in qualifying. However, he did do enough to make it through to the second round of qualifying and get into the top 12. Even by his own admission, I'm not a great road racer, but he's performing well today, right alongside a road course winner himself, Brendan Gaughan, who should be in the mix, and he was kicking himself after qualifying. He said the car was all right, the driver forgot what to do.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Justin Marks in his 42. Another excellent road racer. Even though he's starting outside that top 12, he could be a factor in this race today.
So too Jeremy Clements, and keep an eye on the 20, the man who made that very generous $100,000 donation to the Nationwide Children's Hospital, Kenny Habul. He was in the mix here last year. He was in the mix at Watkins Glen last weekend. We'll see what he can do. All right, DJ, let's get to some more difficult propositions. You're back here on the 8th or 9th or 10th row, the likes of Ryan Reed and Dylan Kuznetsky. What do you do? How do you do? This track is known for its difficulty to get by.
Yeah, even though everybody's looked at strategies, and certainly the number of laps this year has changed the way that people are going to look at this, I would probably try to get in early, especially make a pit stop, 14, 15 laps, and then get in as early as I can to make what would probably be my last and final pit stop, so that if I catch a caution right, I might find myself at the head of the field. I might not be able to stay there, but it could help me get a good finish today.
Tommy Dreese, one of the road course specialists, he's been busy this weekend racing his Trans Am car here as well. I'm sure we'll see Tommy at some stage throughout the race back on row 15. Blake Cook, who confirmed his 2016 plans. He will be back in the same car with the same team, Trisport Motorsports, for the 2016 season. So we are getting ready as we roll through the remaining positions on the grid. 40 cars in total. This is going to be tough. Expect yellows. It's the nature of the Mid-Ohio course.
This place is so tight. You know, watching it on TV the last 2 years didn't really give me the perspective of just how tight the racing's going to be and how hard these drivers have to work at literally staying on the course and getting the most out of their race car.
Spectacular racing at Mid-Ohio is par for the course, and we're going to rely on our onboard cameras to bring us some extra views of the action. Points leader Chris Buescher with the onboard there, and then we have Kenny Habul with thanks to Sun Energy One. Chris Buescher covering and carrying the Xfinity onboard. This man here in the 3 was in the thick of it last week, wasn't he? Ty Dillon, he carries the Chevy onboard, and then we have one more to bring you in addition to Chris Buescher. And again, mentioning Xfinity, we're going to be going to this camera a lot, I'm sure of that, based on his form this season and last year here at Mid-Ohio for Chris Buescher. And our pole sitter carrying the Ford EcoBoost onboard camera, that's Alex Tagliani, the Canadian. Ready to go. Mid-Ohio, a track he knows well. He's raced a variety of cars here over many, many years. Here are the facts that you need to know.
Yeah, you can see the 75 laps, just shy of 170 miles in this pit road speed. This pit road is uphill. These drivers are going to have to make sure that they don't try to push it a little bit, getting a little bit more out of it. 28 to 30 laps is the fuel wind, about 30 for most of the herd, even though Chris Buescher went 38 to win this race last year.
Massive elevation change, 136 feet. Right where they are now is the highest point on this track. It's turn 2. You'll hear Dale and myself call it the keyhole. That's because of that extra little loop in there that the motorcycles use, and also here at the Mid-Ohio Racing School as well. Shaped like a keyhole, hence the name. All right, let's check in one last time with the guys working pit road for today's Nationwide Children's Hospital 200. We start with Dave Burns. Dave-O?
Lee, will they, won't they, could they? You heard DJ mention the fact that the 60 team went 38 laps here last year, and Scott Graves, crew chief for Chris Buescher, told me that this morning that they're getting the kind of fuel mileage that can do that as well this year. But will they do it with a championship on the line? Scott said probably no, but it's really good to know that as far as strategy goes, you have good fuel mileage to give you more options. Jim Noble?
Dave, I'm standing here at the number 6 pit of Darrell Wallace Jr., the man they call Bubba, has had a very interesting day. Let's take you back to this morning, round 1 of qualifying. Bubba Wallace, there's a problem. You see this race car? It wasn't moving. He had a complete loss of electrical power. They took the box out. They reconnected everything. Lo and behold, it fired up, and Bubba Wallace was able to qualify 11th. So maybe in some strange way, guys, Bubba Wallace might have gotten all his bad luck out of the way before this race has even begun. Alex Hayden?
Jim, first time Daniel Suarez ever saw a Mid-Ohio sports car course was Friday morning when he walked through the front gates. Since then, he's had a very eventful weekend. He's been off the track, as you can see, numerous times in the practice sessions. However, when he was able to keep that orange Toyota on the race course this weekend, he has been very fast. He's got a road racing background, and if he can keep the nose clean on this orange Toyota, Daniel Suarez could have something to say about this in victory lane.
You know, Alex, Daniel Suarez comes from Monterrey, Mexico. There is a phenomenal road course there that IndyCar used to visit. The youngster, unfortunately, has never had the opportunity to run on that track. He said to me yesterday, if only, I wish I could do that. How about for Alex Tagliani? They're sitting on the pole position. He joins Marcus Ambrose, Kurt Busch, Sam Hornish Jr., Terry Labonte, and Scott Pruitt. What a group. As 3-time Xfinity Series pole sitters. The day has got off to a very good start for Alex Tagliani in his one and only start for Team Penske in the Xfinity Series this year. Ready to go. Pace car pulls off. We are set. The Nationwide Children's 200 here at Mid-Ohio. 40 cars. It's time to bring the action.
Go, 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 go.
Tagliani will be looking for a clean start. Buescher on the outside. That's not where you want to be in turn 1 at Mid-Ohio. Watch for the 3 of Dillon. Buescher does well to hang on to second.
Yeah, and I think that was probably planned. He knows the 22 is a little bit faster. He just wanted to get a clean start to this race. That's the points leader.
Kenny Habul back in the pack on the inside, trying to make up as many positions as he can. He's deep in the pack, runs up on the rumble strip behind Brendan Gaughan. Trying to make up for a lowly 15th starting spot. He was frustrated by that. Chase Elliott now on Brian Scott. They're door-to-door.
The fastest part of the racetrack here, down this back straightaway, going to turn 4. But you've got to make sure that you get your braking and your shifting done right here early. You attack this corner too hard, you find yourself off in the grass.
Have you noticed that the 54 of Boris Said has snuck up into 3rd in the Monster Machine? The 54 of Boris. He finished 4th at Watkins Glen last week, I should say, and he said if I had 1 or 2 laps, I may have been able to get Chris Buescher for that 3rd spot. So Boris looking for victory here at Mid-Ohio, and already Buescher in the 60 working on our leader.
Yeah, back to Boris Said for just a second. He is such a good road racer, but where he excels is in his braking. He is able to drive the car a little bit further and stay under control. That could really benefit him here today in making passes.
Ben Rhodes in the 88 in the black car, right alongside Bubba Wallace. He runs wide, the teenager, and he's getting all caught up, and now he gets a little nudge from the 1 of Elliott Sadler, and he runs wide, almost going to pit in. Rhodes is getting frustrated, and he's getting flustered, and he's getting pushed around. The big boys are coming, Ben. Hang on.
Yeah, it'd be better off just to settle in right here, let Brendan Gaughan have this spot, and then just settle in and run your race. You're not going to get any benefit from racing somebody side by side through turns 1 and 2 here this afternoon, this early in the race.
He's lost 4 positions already from his 8th starting position. Brendan Gaughan now has the preferred inside line through turn 2. Meanwhile, up front, Alex Tagliani is not shaking off the challenge of the defending race winner, Chris Buescher, doing a super job in the 60. Buescher looked to the inside at turn 4. The downhill run, the back straight, we call it, but it's not really, as you learned firsthand today, DJ.
No, there's not much straight about it for sure, and it comes in a hurry. Fastest part of the racetrack. Chris Buescher is really doing an excellent job on these road courses. He's really established himself as somebody to watch for. The two guys that he finished third to last week, 2 Sprint Cup winners and drivers that will be battling for the Sprint Cup championship this year. So he did an excellent job there. Obviously won the race here last year.
He credits an old friend and teacher, Dick Danielson, in his earlier days, and in these current days, a driver himself, Billy Johnson, who raced for Roush in sports cars. Billy actually did in a couple of Xfinity Series races himself. Billy is sitting right there in the grandstand outside turn 12. He's on the radio. He's spotting for Chris Buescher, and also perhaps a little bit of driver assistance as well.
Yeah, it never hurts, and Chris Buescher listens very well. That's the one thing that I've been told from his crew chiefs, that he listens, takes in the information, and when a driver's willing to do that, you're going to learn a lot quicker.
The climb up to turn 2. Look back through. Ty Dillon. Whoa, Chase Elliott defensive there. He knew Brian Scott was going to make a move, and Regan Smith in the purple number 7 is lining up for a shot.
Yeah, this 2 and 9 have spent more time side by side here in the early laps than they have single file. See Regan Smith trying to take advantage of Brian Scott right there.
And the drive off that turn 2 keyhole is paramount. Good drive. Oh, Regan Smith is in the grass. Through turn 3 at the highest speed they'll reach on this track, and he'll get that position away from the 2.
Yeah, you have to be careful there in trying to outbrake him. His teammate was right there in front of him, Chase Elliott. Don't want to get in there too far, too hot, and then lose the spot that you worked hard to get.
Alex Tagliani continues to lead, but marginally, just very tight between 1 and 2. He and Chris Buescher, Boris Said, Ty Dillon, and then this group, led by the reigning series champion, the 9 of Chase Elliott. Regan Smith, oh, we've lost Tommy Dreese at the top of turn 5, exiting turn 5. And usually when you see that, the driver's been helped.
Clear out.
Maybe a little tap from behind, and that has sent Tommy Dreese, and he's down in 26th, was in 26th position. Tagliani and Chris Buescher, 1 and 2. That has been unchanged since the green flag fell here at Mid-Ohio. Settling into a rhythm now, which is key here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Such a technical track. Even though it's only 2.4 miles, it's a beast. They're over that start hump. They're over that hill. This is NASCAR on NBC, and it's being brought to you by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And Xfinity, the future of awesome. NASCAR Mobile is the best way to follow your favorite drivers, build your own leaderboards, listen to driver in-car audio, and watch live in-car cameras. Go to NASCAR.com/mobile. Mid-Ohio, what a sight from high above. And Alex Tagliani will be enjoying his view in the Discount Tire 22 Ford Mustang for Team Penske. Not only the pole position winner, but he has led every lap thus far. Sure, it's early on in this revised 75-lap race. The opening 2 years here were 90 lappers. However, this year, NASCAR felt that just bringing it back to 70 would fit more in step, DJ, with the other Xfinity Series races, and just for timing purposes in general. Yeah, basically, I mean, you're looking at laps that are taking 86, 87 seconds around here. So, you know, when you put that in perspective, even though we're talking about only a 170-mile race, you're still looking at about the same time frame, and that's what NASCAR looks at, what NBC looks at, and so to make it all work, they felt like that this was the best scenario for everyone, and it put kind of a different spin on what the teams and the crew chiefs and the drivers will be looking at here today. Strategically, for sure, yeah. Hey, Dave, what's your assessment on the top 2 so far?
So far, so good, I would say, for both of them. Alex Tagliani making faster laps every time, according to crew chief Greg Irwin, who's keeping him encouraged on the radio. Remember, Tagliani's only race this year in the Xfinity Series right here, right now. So he is going to improve as his driving skills come back to him throughout the course of the day. As for Chris Buescher, he has been gaining an experience on the road courses ever since his win last year. He's been very, very good. And yesterday he told me, this car is better than the car was last year. I'm better, but so are a lot of other drivers as he continues to chase down the 22. You saw a car stop there, leave caution on the track.
David Starr has come to a halt on track, and we see our first full course yellow. Last year here at Mid-Ohio, 5 cautions for a total of 17 laps. This is number 1. We knew it was coming. It's just the nature of this racetrack. And we will find out what happened to David Starr when we come back on the other side of this. So far, so good for Team Penske and Tag. Great to have you with us for today's Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 here at Mid-Ohio. Lee Diffie, Dale Jarrett, Dave Burns, Alex Hayden and Jim Noble really enjoying this one. Been busy, but a good day as usual, qualifying and racing on the same day. We're under our first full course caution. David Starr's 44 just stopped out on track. We believe it was stuck in gear, couldn't get going anywhere. And we are about to see a flurry of first round of stops, and this will be a talking point. Many believe that some could have tried their luck to do it on a one-stopper. We'll see how this shakes out, but the top guys are in. Look at Buescher. Look at Chris Buescher just shadowing Alex Tagliani up pit road. Let's head down there. Jim first.
Bubba Wallace is going to come in and put 4 tires on the number 6 car. They're going to pump up the air pressure. Says it's not too bad right now. They will top off his fuel tank with Sunoco Racing fuel. Dave?
Chris Buescher's getting a 4-tire pit stop. Goodyear tires on. Fuel in. Sunoco fuel. Alex Tagliani, fuel only in the 22 car on the first time down pit road.
And the pit boxes that all 40 cars will experience today here at Mid-Ohio are extremely tight. Let's take a look at the winners. The big winner there is Elliott Sadler, jumping 3 positions. Ryan C grabbing 2 and Blake Cook grabbing 4 as well. This man here, Boris said, chose not to pit.
Yeah, and he kept a couple of others out there. You can see the 9 of Chase Elliott. I believe the 7 of Regan Smith is still there. Interesting strategies being played out. I believe that's Daniel Suarez that is still on the racetrack also. You can see Ben Rhodes, Justin Marks,
Kenny Bull, Jeremy Clements in the 51. So quite a grouping choosing not to pit.
Yeah, and I believe, though, if I would have come to pit road, I know that Elliott Sadler and Alex Tagliani, their teams chose to just put fuel in. I believe after seeing those cars stay on the track, I believe I would have chosen to get 4 tires and be in a better position tire-wise. You have the tires there. You're probably going to make just 2 more stops throughout this day, or 1 more stop throughout this day, but you had the tires to do that at that time.
So keep this in mind. Last year, Chris Buescher and his Roush Fenway Ford went 38 laps to victory in the final stint, 38 laps. So keep that in mind. We will see more cautions today. However, we will keep that one in our pocket for a little later on. Let's head to pit road.
Well, Boris said elected to stay out. His crew chief is Chris Gale. It's about discipline and calling their own race and not getting caught off guard by what other teams are doing. Chris Gale said, look, we're going to stay out. We're going to stay on our strategy and come down the pit lane when our window opens up, which is somewhere around lap number 12, to expect that Toyota to come to the pit lane somewhere between 12 and 15 for Boris Stead. But it's all about their pit strategy right now and being disciplined. Jim?
You know, Elliott Sadler was bemoaning the fact after that stop that they didn't take tires. Crew chief Phil Gould said, hey, remember what happened in practice? We were great on tires with about 7-8 laps on it. That pit stop happened at lap 7, so he's trying to talk Elliott back into a good frame of mind.
Lights are off on the pace car as well. Getting ready to go back to racing here at Mid-Ohio. You'll see the pace car exit left, pit entry there. It's Boris Said in the 54, Joe Gibbs Racing monster car, right alongside reigning series champion Chase Elliott, ready to bring the action again. Let's go racing Mid-Ohio. And Elliott trying to muscle Boris Said. You don't often see them go side by side through one and do it successfully, but look at Chase Elliott. Not too many people muscle Boris Said out of the way, but the youngster has done it.
Boy, that was a great move to hang in there. Tough to outbreak Boris Said into some, but he was back to the throttle and gets the lead.
Daniel Suarez, Joe Gibbs Racing teammate to Boris Said, gives him a little nudge from behind as well, but Chase Elliott in the 9s leaps to the front on the restart, and impressively so.
Well, very interesting that the 2 cars that basically restarted on what's considered the outside there were able to pick up a spot. Speaking of the 9 and the 18.
Somebody else who did not pit on that cycle was the 42 of Justin Marks. Keep an eye on Justin. There's Busher in the middle of the pack. You're looking for the 42, that blue car, blue, white, and fluorescent yellow. The Lynxus entry for H. Scott Motorsports with Chip Ganassi Racing. Justin Marks won what is now known as the Tudor United Sports Car Championship. Back in the old days, the Rolex Grand Am Sports Car Series. He won here in the GT class, which was highly competitive. A terrific racer, and he isn't doing many of these races. Did a lot of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing after leaving sports cars, but this will be a special one-off. He started 6th and finished 6th here last year, and knows his way around Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, had an excellent race, and he understands what this race is about. He knows that it's 75 laps, when to push the issue, when not to. But him, like a number of others, Regan Smith, I talked with Jason Burdett, his crew chief yesterday. They know how many laps they can go. They're going to stick to their strategy. Jason Burdett told me for the 7-car Regan Smith, basically 30 laps is our limit as to what we can do. So look for us around lap 14 or 15, then we'll come back at 30 laps later and make our last stop.
Elliott Sadler trying to muscle Dylan Kwasniewski out of the way. You ride with Chris Busher. Have a listen. Where you position yourself on this run down to turn 4 is paramount. And look at Kwasniewski, beautifully defensive. Just making it tough for Elliott Sadler.
Yeah, he's able to stay right there. And this track is so narrow in this point. You're down to 2nd gear trying to get up. Dylan did a great job. A lot of times if you angle in there and don't get yourself positioned right, then you can't get back to the throttle. But Dylan did a great job of holding Sadler and Chris Busher off here right now.
Racing lap 11, and you would have to say, for the characteristics of the Mid-Ohio course, and it doesn't matter what the racing series is, especially Xfinity Series racing, I think the boys have played well so far.
They've done a great job, and I'm really impressed. I expected more to be off the track at this portion of the race, just by what we saw yesterday in practice. But I guess everyone had the opportunity. Here we see someone off there.
Difficult to pick up that number. Someone ran off at turn 12. It's a popular spot when you head through that right hand of the carousel heading in to the final sequence of turns. Chase Elliott leads the way in the 9. Yet to pit. Likewise for Borisette. It may have been Daniel Suarez that went off track. We'll follow that up when we come back. There's Suarez in the background. He's fine. Line. It's Premier Boxing Champions tonight at 9 Eastern on NBCSN. Welcome back. We're running at a slower pace, and it's not good news for the 20 Sun Energy 1 Toyota of Kenny Habul. The weekend has not gone his way. He's got a flat tire on the front left. He just took a wild, wild ride, DJ.
Yeah, he's got a right front tire that's flat. You can see that car is getting ready to come completely off there, trying to make his way. And this happened just after he came by the entrance. You can see that tire goes down as he's trying to make that last corner.
Did not pit on the opening cycle, and that put him in a very prominent 6th position, and then it all just went away from him. It was a reasonable opening day. However, he was extremely frustrated with qualifying, just with generally the handling of the car. Take a listen. This is what it was like for Kenny Habul.
You could hear him really in the throttle. He did not want to get stuck in that sand trap because he would still be there having to be pulled out, would have lost a lap. He, at this point in time, has been able to stay on the lead lap, even though he's probably doing quite a bit of damage underneath there and to the right front fender.
It happened right at the completion of a lap, the worst possible place for Kenny Habul, because then it's a 2.4-mile journey back around to pit road. Alex?
Well, you can see they had to manually lift the car up off of the ground to get the jack underneath the jack peg on the right side of the car. They've got the tires off, and what's left of the right front tire off anyway. Asking for the hammers now just to kind of beat the sheet metal out a bit and make sure there's not going to be a tire rub for the Australia driver, Kenny Habul. But tough break here in the early going here for Kenny Habul, but they're going to go ahead and put on fresh Goodyear tires here, top him off with Sunoco fuel as well, and get him back out on the racetrack.
He may not be the star of the day today behind the wheel, but he certainly is as far as his generosity. Kenny Habul donating $100,000 of his own money to the Nationwide Children's Hospital here in Columbus, Ohio. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series here on your home of Motorsport NBCSN. This is round 21 for the 2015 championship, the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 here at Mid-Ohio, and we're coming to the end of our second full course caution. Kenny Habul's number 20 JGR Toyota has been repaired and he has headed back out on track. Elliott Sadler is leading the field. However, there was, while we're in the break, a round of stops by some. Let's get an update, and we start with Dave Burns.
The 7 car of Regan Smith came in and they changed 4 tires, 4 Goodyears, and filled him full of Sunoco fuel is what I was trying to say. And also, you see the action here on pit road right now, those Goodyear tires being changed and the Sunoco fuel going in. Before that, under green, while we were in commercial, the 3 of Ty Dillon came down pit road. He had a fuel-only stop, and he was told by his crew chief, we can make it on our strategy without caution flags. They will need to stop one more time, but no cautions needed to make it. Alex?
Dave, these drivers are in fact inside their pit window. Chase Elliott was in the 9 car. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, topped him off with Sunoco fuel. No chassis adjustments. He's very happy with the handling of that race car. Same with Boris Said in the black 54 car. He too very happy with the handling of the car, simply taking it easy on the track. It is the early going. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, and again, no adjustments for Boris Said.
And there is Boris. It's been a quiet start to this race so far. He's had his time at the front. He got out muscled, which is uncharacteristic for Boris, by the 9 of Chase Elliott through turn 1 on the run up the hill to turn 2 on that restart. You know, Boris has some pretty funny memories of this track. He got his first professional victory here in 1989 in a Chevrolet Challenge event. He said, I couldn't believe it. I won the money, I was by myself in my car, and I took my big check, and I had my trophy, and I was on top of the world. And I had to drive to Portland, Oregon for the very next race the next weekend, and I was just happy just to meander my way across to the West Coast. And he said, but first I was going to have a celebration dinner, because I just won my first professional event, and I had some money, and I took off from Mid-Ohio here, and out in the countryside here, there was a policeman, and he got me for speeding. And he said, look, please don't do this to me. I just won my first professional race. Look, here's the check. And the police officer said, well, son, it looks like you got enough money to pay this fine.
Reality strikes again.
But he's had a lot more success than that at this track throughout his sports car years, that's for sure. He is an Xfinity Series race winner at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve at Montreal. And Boris is the first one to tell you, hey, I'm no longer a full-time racer. I'm a businessman. He runs automotive dealerships. He's got BMW and VW of Murrieta in California. He's about to build another one. So business is good, and he's working extremely hard. He said, I used to go away from the racetrack to have a break. Now I come to the racetrack and have a break. And when I'm in equipment like the stuff I get from Joe Gibbs Racing, it's a pleasure. This is almost like my vacation.
Yeah, a lot of fun for him to come and be a part of this. And again, last week did an outstanding job with a top 5 run.
Hey, Jim, what do you have on the 88?
Well, Ben Rhodes came down pit road when everybody else did during that caution. Lots of changes. 4 tires, wedge adjustment on both sides. They had to clean the grill. They had to breathe there. And then about a couple of laps later, just a second ago, they came back down and topped off with Sunoco Racing Fuel. They are now in their window with a little bit to spare. So a little wily move by the 88 team.
That was a little bit of a ragged start from the teenager, but that's part of the learning curve, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the only thing about this is putting this young man and young driver in a difficult position back in this field. But it also gives him some great experience in racing and learning how to pass on these difficult road courses.
It's an all Roush Fenway front row for this restart coming up. And look who's looming in the background, the 22 of Alex Tagliani. So on that last cycle, Chris Buescher, you could say, did better than Tag. We'll see how it squares up here. Elliott Sadler in the 1 in the preferred position. However, Chase Elliott showed us last time, if you're where Chris Buescher is there on the left-hand side, you can go around who's ever on that inside line. Into turn 1, Roush Fenway teammates. Elliott Sadler will take it through 1, but watch the 22 in the drag race up the hill. Here comes Tagliani.
Yeah, just looking for a place to go. Now he's going to fall in behind Buescher, have that preferred spot on Sadler as he enters turn 2.
Chris Buescher leads the way. The top 2 guys who started on the front row earlier in this race at the drop of the green now run 1 and 2 again, but in reverse positions. The 22-year-old Texan who won here a year ago leads this race.
Yeah, Buscher also, he put 4 tires on during his pit stop. Tagliani and his crew decided that they were only going to put fuel in. Buscher was able to get through traffic a little better after they had made that pit stop during that last green flag run. We'll see what the 22 can do with him here, though.
Brendan Gaughan in the 62, the South Point Chevrolet. He is in the mix. There's plenty of Roush Fenway cars up there. Enter the 6 of Bubba Wallace. And then you've got the 0 of Michael Self, who made up an enormous amount of positions at the beginning of this race and has performed extremely well. Keep in mind, Michael is yet to pit, though. In that 0, behind him, the 2 of Brian Scott, the man who led 39 laps, a race high here last year, as he tries to work on the 0 now.
Yeah, talking and listening to Brian Scott this weekend, he really hasn't ever gotten the car to where he felt as comfortable as what he wanted to get the speed and be able to attack this racetrack the way that he did last year and led those laps. We'll see if he's able to make some gains here as they've made a pit stop, got some tires and fuel in this car.
John West Townley gets on the inside of the 0. Michael Self as the 2. Pardon me, Dylan Lupton there in the 25 as he gets through. And Brian Scott was getting a little impatient there with the 0 of Michael Self, just saying, come on, get out of my way. I've got to get up. I've got to get up with these front guys. I want this to be my race today. Let's talk more about Brendan Gaughan. Here's Jim Noble.
Brendan Gaughan just radioed in Lee just about 30 seconds ago and says, I'm pretty sure I have a flat tire. The 62 crew is up on the wall awaiting Brendan Gaughan unless this sorts itself out, Dave.
Jim, RCR teammate Brian Scott trying to get his car to where it was at the end of final practice yesterday. In fact, he compared it exactly to where it was before the final run of final practice. He said, that's when it was almost good. We got it great for the last run. I need you to do that again. Next time down pit road, we'll see if they've made it significantly better for Brian Scott.
Did you see the 0 of Michael Self broadside there? The red 0 was sideways down through turn 6, and I'm amazed that he's hung on to it. Great catch. Meanwhile, the 2 of Brian Scott, who Dave was just talking about, is making some really quick inroads. So too Alex Tagliani on the 60 of Chris Buscher. First and second as we race lap 19 of this 75-lap Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 at Mid-Ohio. The points leader out in front. You don't have to miss a race, and you can do that by visiting NASCAR.com/calendar to download the official 2015 season schedule, get pre-race reminders as well, and find your local airing information. NASCAR.com/calendar. We welcome you back to Mid-Ohio here. Chris Buscher, last year's winner, his very first Xfinity career victory came here 12 months ago. But we need to update you with what has been happening. Now, this one happened just before we went to the break. Watch this. JJ Yaley, Boris said in behind. JJ's already lost it, and Boris kind of bulldozes him a little bit, gets that 28 out of the way. Dakota Armstrong sneaks through on the inside. Daniel Suarez in there as well. Nobody else contacted the 28. But check this out. Watch this. Woo, Michael Self. That was a spin that didn't happen.
Yeah, nice save right there.
And then this, while we're in the break, Bubba Wallace lost it all by himself going into turn 9 at the top of Thunder Valley, and he was able to successfully navigate his way out of there. Generally, you don't see that here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, he did a great job of getting out. Usually you start spinning the wheels, you just dig yourself a hole, and then they have to pull you out.
Guess what else we've got going on track? Oh, there's somebody off there at the top at turn 2, and it is the 88 of Ben Rhodes. He's going to do his best, but that car's starting to bury. The 88 goes no further. He was 19th when this happened up at turn 2. The 18-year-old, who's had a pretty good day, to be honest, made it through to the final round of qualifying, got into the top 12, qualified in the top 10, and was in the thick of it, was looking good strategically as far as his pit stop cycles. However, this has put a dent in his progress. He'll get rescued. We'll take a break. Come back with more of the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200. Here on your home of motorsport, NBCSN, it's Xfinity Series racing today. Tomorrow, the Sprint Cup Series is live from Michigan at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on NBCSN. Under caution for the third time today here at Mid-Ohio, and it's because of the 88 of Ben Rhodes, just exiting turn 2. It's a tricky spot, it's a hot spot, and he's finally got rescued out of that gravel trap. It's a beautiful day here in the Buckeye State, and at the moment we've got the points leader and last year's race winner, Chris Buescher, leading the way. So a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breath, everybody's regrouping. We'll go racing when we come back. There's your leader. Still under caution. You know what? The average green flag run so far today has been 5 laps. We're already seeing 3 full course cautions. We want to build some momentum here. But before we get back to racing, let's check in with the boys on pit road. We start with Jim Noble.
Well, Lee, it was an apocalyptic 5 minutes on my section of pit road. First, we had Bubba Wallace. Okay, the spin. Got into that gravel and sand. You know what can happen there. He can clog up the grill. His big concern, the grill looks fine. They want him to keep an eye on the water temperature, but he's back out. Ben Rhodes just got pulled out of the soup, just apologized to his team. When I talked with Ben, he said, my goal this weekend, make all the laps after the Watkins Glen engine failure. As you see, he's back on pit road. They're topping him off with Sunoco Racing Fuel. And oh, by the way, Brendan Gaughan, who thought he had a flat tire, didn't have a flat tire. He is good to go. Dave?
Jim, you mentioned run all the laps. That's the kind of advice that crew chief Danny Stockman was trying to give to his young driver, Brandon Jones. Yesterday, Brandon treated the car pretty harshly and broke the rear end on that car. They had to change it out, and Danny told him, hey, listen, if you're going to run these races and you need to make laps, you need to get time in the race car. So Brandon's been very good with the car. I just checked in with Danny moments ago. He said he's making good time on the track. They stopped on the first caution for 4 tires and fuel, and he's on his way again.
Dave, thank you. Let's update our onboard runners. The Sun Energy 1 onboard, Kenny Habor. What an eventful day it has been. And we saw him running 6th. Got that flat tire heading into the final turn 13. Ran through the gravel trap, narrowly missed the wall. Got himself out and went all the way back around to come back. And he soldiered on to still be on the lead lap. And he's worked his way back up to 17th. That's the view there for Ty Dillon. Well, we see Ty, but guess who he sees in his rearview mirror? Yes, the guy he came to blows with last week. There he is right there. Regan Smith, the Chevrolet onboard, shows us that. Well, not quite as you predicted, DJ. You thought you'd see them together on the starting grid, but finally, the 2 guys who clashed big time last week finally find themselves on the track. The Ford EcoBoost view of Alex Tagliani, the man from Quebec who has constructed quite the racing career for himself over the past couple of decades, has been shining today. He sits 2nd, and we go right to the top, the Xfinity onboard of Chris Buescher. This quietly spoken, mild-mannered Texan does his best work when the helmet goes on. He is incredible, and he has sustained the pressure. Everybody thinking that Tagliani would be the man today, but Buescher has put that Roush Fenway 60 up the front. Back in a moment. You can get news, results and highlights delivered to your inbox by simply subscribing to the free official NASCAR newsletter at NASCAR.com/newsletter. Welcome back, and we do welcome you back just in time for the restart here at the end of the 3rd full course caution. The Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 set to go again, and the same 2 guys who started in these positions in reverse at the very beginning of the day. Let's do it again. Green flies here at Mid-Ohio. Chris Buescher has that preferred inside line, but we've seen a couple of times that you can do it on the outside. Will Tagliani try? The Roush Fenway boys are coming. Here's Elliott Sadler ganging up on Alex Tagliani to protect his teammate as the drag race up to 2 begins. Will Tagliani stick it out? Yes, he does. Draws alongside Chris Buescher and retakes the lead.
Oh, what a great move that was. It looked like Chris Buescher had this well in hand right there. Just shows great road racers are able to outbrake others, and he did a fantastic job of making that run down to turn 2.
Regan Smith is trying to get up with the 3. Oh, and we're hearing we got another caution for fluid on the track. Fluid on the racetrack. NASCAR officials are trying to determine who it is. Maybe an early report of the 13 maybe dropping fluid on the track, and for the 4th time today, the yellow flies. Tim Cohen, whether it is his car or not, we will determine that in just a moment. But let's relive this restart. Now watch here. Elliott Sadler on the far right gangs up on the 22, but look at the drive off turn one that Tagliani got.
Boy, really made a great move. You can see that Buescher thought he had that, and I think if he had any idea that Tagliani was going to get there, he would have probably put a block on him before they got to that point. By the time he realized, though, it was way too late.
One of the key and one of the signature overtaking points here at Mid-Ohio is that run up into turn two. This is what it looked like for Alex Tagliani. Have a listen. Crank up the volume. That's Ford on Ford. Team Penske versus Roush Fenway. Tagliani versus Buescher. Good stuff.
Really good stuff. I really believe Chris Buescher didn't have any idea. He thought that he was clear there. No reason to come over and block because he was going to have the right angle into the turn two.
All right, so some of the oil dried down. Definitely fluid on track. The cleanup continues here at Mid-Ohio. We're trying to get some momentum here, and when we do, look out. It'll be worth the wait. The cleanup continues here at Mid-Ohio, and we understand it was gearbox oil from Tim Cohen's Ford that has caused this cleanup. As we look at the Nationwide sign there, and we acknowledge the Nationwide Children's Hospital, just less than an hour south of here, just slightly north of Columbus, Ohio. And we are racing today not only in acknowledgement of that amazing facility, but these kids, the kids who are here today who are treated at that amazing hospital, and kids who, there are 10 special children here of various ages from various states, we must add, who are patient champions. And this is the incredible facility where they are treated. It is the Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus. And you see there Regan Smith and Chase Elliott were just a couple of the visitors from the drivers group to see the kids and to see the hospital. And I can tell you that they were amazed. It was a truly special and moving visit.
We got to look at the race cars, all of them. There's, I believe, 10 or 11 race cars that have the special paint schemes and have the patient faces on the cars, and they're going to be riding along with us.
To have a family with us on our race team this weekend kind of makes me want to do really good for them and make them have a good race weekend and a good experience.
The hospital sees more than 1 million patient visits every year, and this group of 10 patient champions acted as one as the Grand Marshal for today, and all 10 patient champions are aligned with a specific driver. They spend time with them here at the track. They get to sit in the car. All 10 of the kids, by the way, got to meet the entire driver group at the driver's briefing earlier today. And I tell you, when you talk to any of the drivers, this is an extremely special event for them. We want to acknowledge the kids. That's Owen, by the way. That's Owen Motti, and his driver is Brian Scott. We'll see what the number 2 can do today. And they're on screen. Once again, we did it in Countdown to Green. We acknowledge all of the kids. Aiden Van Wagner, we mentioned Owen, Dominic Clark, Laney Roll, who's racing for with Regan Smith, Evan Kern, and then you have Michael Gallagher, Kaylee Leonard, William Schaefer, Mikey Allen, and Alexandra James. So the kids have had a fantastic day. They have some significant health issues and health challenges, but they are being treated by one of the country's best pediatric facilities and research centers, and that is the Nationwide Children's Hospital. For the 3rd year here at Mid-Ohio, it's an extremely important day in addition to being just one race in the championship. Do you know the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course isn't the only famous landmark around here? The Ohio State Reformatory. You might be saying, what? Or maybe some of you, keen moviegoers, have a keen eye. This was, of course, well, many movies and many things have been shot here, but most famously, The Shawshank Redemption. When you're having a dinner party or hanging out with friends, usually it's right up there in the top 3 or 5 movies of everyone's personal choice. And it did actually act as a true correctional facility for some 80 years, from the early 1900s right through until 1990. And of course, Shawshank Redemption was 1994, starring Tim Robbins. What a terrific movie it was. Quick reminder that you can stream NASCAR and more with the fastest, most reliable in-home Wi-Fi on Xfinity. Stay connected on the go with millions of hotspots nationwide. Download the NBC Sports Live Extra app and never miss a moment. Was it in your top 3 or top 5?
Excellent movie. There's no doubt about it. It goes back a long way. My memory serves me correctly that it was excellent watch.
Ready to go. Ready to go. And it's role reversal. That aqua blue 60 of Chris Buescher now on the outside. Now remember, Tagliani was able to get by him on the last restart. 4th full course yellow, over and done. Let's go racing, the Xfinity Series here at Mid-Ohio. Tagliani, the pole sitter for Team Penske, leads them into turn 1. Elliott Sadler puts him in. Oh, we've got a crash. We've got a spinner in turn 1. It's Kenny Habul in the 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing. The Sun Energy 1 car went around, and it looked like he may have had some help from behind, tagged in the rear. Running 16th. Boy, Kenny Habul has been beaten up today.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. He'd done a great job after that flat tire of getting himself back up into the top 20.
Brandon Jones in the 33, left of screen, that bright yellow and blue car. He's in the thick of things, but it's Alex Tagliani. Look at the 2 of Brian Scott. He's on a mission. We've said it all weekend long. Unfinished business here at Mid-Ohio for Brian Scott. Felt he should have won the race last year, did not. And that was a big source of frustration.
Yeah, I really saw this as an opportunity today to possibly get that first Xfinity win. Having a good, solid day.
Getting back into the groove. Less than 5 laps is the average green flag run that we've had today. It's been punctuated by 4 full course yellows. Let's get into a rhythm. Let's get some racing under our belts here. As we race lap 30 of 75, getting closer and closer to that halfway mark.
It looked like on that restart that Chris Buescher might even lose the 2nd spot to his teammate Elliott Sadler. Did a good job down in turn 2 to hold on to that spot, though. Now seems to be running the 22 of Alex Tagliani down again. The passing here, very, very difficult.
We were chatting in the break, DJ. Whoa, Brendan Gaughan out doing a little dirt tracking. We were chatting in the break, one of the rule changes that NASCAR implemented for this year's Mid-Ohio race, no longer are you allowed to cut that pit road exit. Do you think that's affected some of the guys who may have used that, you know, their muscle memory from last year?
Yeah, certainly did. I think that after what NASCAR saw, they saw that as something that could be a potential danger with a car coming off of that area. So they took that option away, and it certainly, I believe, made some changes for the way some drivers go about that and look at that as a passing opportunity.
The 1 of Elliott Sadler, the 2 of Brian Scott. Oh, look at Regan Smith trying to be opportunistic. Thought he saw a gap there, thought about diving for it, and then Brian Scott shut the door. Habul back on pit road.
Yeah, Regan Smith doing a nice job here, really doing an excellent job on these restarts of picking up a spot here and there on each one of them.
Let's take you back to that restart as we settle into a groove, and the 20 team from JGR go to work. Look to the left of your screen. Oh, yeah, that's Ryan Reed. Ryan Reed into the side of Kenny Habul, the Daytona winner right from the season opener, and he was in the middle of it. Let's go on board the Sun Energy 1 on board. Have a listen.
Yeah, just as Kenny was trying to power up and get through turn 1, things jammed up. You're back there in the 7th, 8th, 9th row, then things really get slowed down there. Kenny was just trying to be careful not to run into anything in front, got hit tapped from behind.
Look at this, Regan Smith in the 7 on Brian Scott. How difficult will Brian make it for him? This is a tough turn, falls away, it's off camber. You got to try and get on the power early. And now it's a drag race down the back straight. Regan Smith on the left, Brian Scott on the right. Who's going to win out? Definitely Regan Smith has the preferred position under braking.
He's got that preferred spot, and looks like his car is really good under braking, able to get a little bit more out of it. Brian Scott didn't push the issue at this point in time in the race.
Brendan Gaughan has regrouped. Dylan Lupton in the 25 leads the orange Aris machine of Joe Gibbs Racing of Daniel Suarez. And then we go back to Brandon Jones having a good run. His first time here at Mid-Ohio in Xfinity Series competition. In all, there's 14 of the 40 haven't driven here in Xfinity race before. So there's been a steep learning curve throughout the 2 practice sessions, qualifying earlier today, and this as we fast approach the halfway mark of the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200. Dave, tell us more about Regan Smith.
After the last pit stop, he said the car was much better into the corner. He needs more help with the drive off right there as he comes off of these corners, although that was pretty good as he puts pressure on Elliott Sadler. And Regan told me he was so confident about his car this weekend. He didn't compare how he was to others. He said there's a few other cars that are as good as we are. When you talk that way, you make passes on road courses. And he takes a spot from Sadler.
Fresher tires. He last pitted on lap 14 versus the guys he's around who pitted on lap 8, and that was easily done.
Yeah, and Elliott Sadler, when he pitted on lap 8, didn't even take tires. So his tires have the entire length of what we've run. Even though we don't have a lot of green flag racing, here comes Chase Elliott.
The Chevrolet on board from Ty Dillon. Got a little wild, got off track. Boris said on the inside, Chase Elliott around the outside. He's used to putting outside moves on Boris. He did it earlier today and does it again. Whoa, he had to pull up there. Almost tagged the back of the 3 of Ty Dillon.
Yeah, he had that spot, but it looked like Dillon didn't really know that he was there. Great job there to not to create any contact and maybe knock a fender in on the tire.
So the order. Up front, Alex Tagliani, Chris Buescher, Regan Smith there in the purple number 7. 3rd spot, Elliott Sadler with a hard charging 2 of Brian Scott. And here comes Ty Dillon and the gang. Boris said Chase Elliott and Brendan Gaughan and Daniel Suarez make up the top 10. Now we're getting into the groove of things. Now we're getting some laps under our belt. Let's keep those cautions away and let's race hard here in Mid-Ohio.
Ford Free Ride is on. Get 0% financing for 72 months for qualified buyers, so you're free from interest for 6 years. That's on every 2015 car, SUV, and truck, so you're free to choose. Plus $1,000 bonus cash direct from Ford on cars and SUVs, so you're free to save. Interest-free financing on every 2015 Ford, plus $1,000 bonus cash on cars and SUVs. Hurry, the Ford Free Ride ends soon at your local Ford dealer.
How's the queso? Tim, we need to hang out more. Tomato, T-bone. Actually, my name is Brian.
Tostitos rolls chips. Bring the party.
Your floors know a lot about you. The shoes you wear, the music you dance to. They're the foundation of your life. So trust them to the people who never take that for granted. At Lumber Liquidators, we sell floors and nothing else. And that's why we're committed to selling only the safest and highest quality flooring. For over 20 years, millions of Americans have turned to us for the beautiful, high-quality hardwood floors they've always dreamed of at a low price they deserve. Lumber Liquidators. Hardwood floors for less.
Find hot summer savings tailored to suit your style. This Thursday through Sunday, get designer suits for only $249.99. Plus, buy one, get one free on even more. Only at Men's Warehouse.
Goodyear NASCAR rain tires can expel about 15 gallons of water per second. That's 950 gallons a lap. What does 950 gallons look like?
Introducing Fast Foods First All Natural Burger. With no added hormones, no antibiotics, and no steroids. The All Natural Burger at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
Hey, searching for a great used car? You got it. Just say, show me millions of used cars for sale at the all-new Carfax.com, where now you can search with the power of Carfax. Just say, show me cars with no accidents reported. Boom. Or how about, show me cars with only one owner. Pretty cool. Plus, we're the only site where you get a free Carfax report with every car listed. So find the cars you want, avoid the ones you don't. Start your used car search at Carfax.com.
You didn't miss a thing, non-stop. The action here at Mid-Ohio, second road course race of the year in the Xfinity Series. Alex Tagliani, we ride with the Ford EcoBoost on board, looking back at points leader and defending Mid-Ohio winner Chris Buescher. Just reaffirming, underscoring, highlighting how good he is at road course racing. Buescher, that is.
Yeah.
We know that Tagliani is.
Absolutely. Chris Buescher doing a great job. But I tell you what, they're going to look in the mirror. We've got a great battle here between Chase Elliott and Ty Dillon. But the guy that's in third, Regan Smith has passed his way, worked his way up to that third spot, and he is consistently running the faster laps of the top 3.
That's fresher tires for you. Lap 8. Well, keep in mind that Tagliani just took fuel, didn't he? So,
yes.
Fresher tires for Regan Smith, and he is really starting to make up a lot of ground. The 2 youngsters here, Ty Dillon, Chase Elliott, currently running 5th and 6th respectively. Look at this from a long way back. Chase Elliott, beautiful move under brakes. Nicely done down into turn 4. They rise up the hill. It's always the challenge of television to show the undulation.
Yeah.
And as you got to experience firsthand this morning, didn't you?
Yeah, way more than I anticipated. And I'll tell you something I'm noticing here with Regan Smith and Chase Elliott right there. The brake package that they're using is allowing their drivers to feel very comfortable about charging these hard braking areas and making those moves. That can be important here in making passes this afternoon.
Somebody who's dropped out of the picture dramatically is the one of Elliott Sadler. Jim, tell us more.
Well, you're absolutely right, Lee. Elliott Sadler just came on the radio about a lap ago and said, when do we pit? He is going backwards. Now, Elliott's really worried about air pressure. He wants speed early in the run. So when they do make a pit stop, he's already asked that man, Phil Gould, his crew chief, to bump up the air pressure. Said he wants the speed early in the run because he doesn't think we're going to have many early runs. But right now, those tires are wearing out, and Elliott Sadler is going backwards.
Elliott's one of only 8 drivers who have made both years in the Xfinity Road Course races here at Mid-Ohio with a best finish of 6th. He has got his hands full today. Tagliani, Buescher, Smith, Scott, Chase Elliott, Ty Dillon, Boris said, Elliott Sadler on screen being hounded by the 23-year-old Mexican Daniel Suarez.
And I'd say Sadler's another good 5 or 6 laps away from probably getting on the pit road to feel comfortable about being able to make it to the end.
And look at this. He's a sitting duck. There goes Suarez. Gorn's ready to pounce. So too is the 42 of Justin Marks.
Really impressed with Daniel Suarez here today. He had a difficult day yesterday. And learning this racetrack, he spent more time off in the grass almost than he did on the actual racing surface. But it served him well. They got this race car tightened up for him, moving to the front.
It's only his 2nd Xfinity career road course race. Dakota Armstrong is in the tire barrier.
Crack back up. Come on.
Was running 17th at the time. Let's take a look what happened. DJ, talk us through.
Oh, you can see he just got that right side tires off in the dirt just a little bit onto the strips there. Lost traction completely. Not many places that you can hit something around. I mean, you have that opportunity, but you usually have a lot of runoff area, but he does have some damage on that left rear.
Able to get going again, and we refocus on the challenge at hand that Elliott Sadler has, the Roush Fenway driver, the veteran. He's been able to keep Brendan Gaughan at bay, the Road America winner from last year, trying to make up. And look at what Alex Tagliani has done. This would be the biggest gap that Tag has had over Chris Buescher in quite some time. It's in excess of 1 second. And look who's arrived on the scene. Regan Smith has Chris Buescher in his sights. Fresher tires, he's been running at a better pace, and he's caught the top 2. Sneaking off to a break. We'll go non-stop, though. You won't miss a thing from America's most competitive racetrack, Mid-Ohio.
When Sully gets better, so does Hannah, and David, and Isabel. Because at Nationwide Children's Hospital, every discovery here helps kids everywhere. We share everything we learn, and we care for any child from anywhere who needs our help, which is why we need yours. Please give at nationwidechildrens.org.
For those who play by their own rules, the ones who need a new breed of side-by-side, forged from over 130 years of Kawasaki engineering, built Kawasaki strong to take care of business. Get out there, get your hands dirty, get it done. The Mule Pro Series has got your back. capability, and strength for whatever lies ahead.
An original.
And teriyaki. Man, making commercials is boring.
That's why you need Xfinity.
Their cloud DVR lets me watch all my favorite shows anywhere. It's perfect for me because I do a lot of commercials.
Fast denim. Comfortable fit.
Thanks, Mama. That was me before Derma soap.
Parfum de Edwards.
For men.
With a personal DVR library you can take anywhere, Xfinity is perfect for people on the road.
Uh-oh, warning light. Suddenly, your car's a rolling time bomb, or worse. But at AutoZone, we're not afraid of that little light. We have what you need to make it right and put you at ease. It's called The Zone, and we'll help get you there.
Busy day, huh?
Yep, our annual clearance event really brings them in. I can barely keep up by myself. 0% APR financing. Tons of amazing inventory. Only happens once a year. Hologram number 17 seems to have gone rogue. I'm the real Jan now. 0%, 0%.
At our annual clearance event, get 0% APR financing on a 2015 RAV4. Offer ends September 8th. For great deals on other Toyotas, visit Toyota.com.
It's all yours.
Thanks, Jan.
Toyota, let's go places.
Alex Tagliani leads the way here at Mid-Ohio in the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200, but look behind who has snatched and stolen away second place. It is the hard-charging junior motorsports driver Regan Smith in the 7. Has done a great job. He has pushed that car to the max, caught Pusher, and then easily executed a move to move up into second place as we ease our way into the second half of this 75-lap race. Racing lap 41 at the moment. And Regan Smith, boy, still running high on emotion, driven by last weekend's controversial race at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, there's no doubt that he came here very motivated to make up for what happened last week. He knew he had a great car. That was taken away from him. Then he made a mistake late in trying to make another pass, but he felt very good about his chance. This is the same race car. They went in on Sunday, worked that race car, this number 7, fixed the body on it, and then made everything else change. Jason Burdett had his crew there doing a great job. Fantastic run so far for Regan Smith.
Oh, we got a drama out on track. We got a couple of things happening. One car running slow. The 70 in trouble as well up at turn 9. It's a hot spot. Derek Cope did a good job to gather it back up and get it pointed in the right direction. And here is a car stopped. Is this the 97? Is this Dylan Kwasniewski? I think it is, yes.
Distributor, ignition, everything you can find.
By the sounds of it, DJ's having trouble getting it fired up again.
Brian, go inside the car.
Yeah, NASCAR's going to have no choice but to throw a caution here.
5th caution of the day. We already draw level with last year's total for the 90-lap race. So this will throw an interesting one strategically. Everybody recalibrates as we're into the second half of this one. Under yellow once again, and definitely within range of racing to the end with just this stop. The Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 here at Mid-Ohio. Pit road is about to explode. It's about to get busy as Alex Tagliani, today's pole sitter and race leader at the moment, leads the field to the pits. Get ready, Jim.
Oh, we are, and Elliott Sadler desperately wanted this caution. He wants his crew chief at the top of your screen there to go back on the wedge adjustment they made earlier. 4 tires, a round of wedge in, and they will pack him full of Sunoco Racing fuel. He'll be good to go the rest of the way, Alex.
4 fresh Goodyear tires for Chase Elliott. No chassis adjustments on his blue Camaro. They're going to chock it full of Sunoco Racing fuel. There's going to be some awful thirsty race cars come the advertised distance. Chase Elliott is away. Dave.
Leader Alex Tagliani on pit road for 4 fresh Goodyear tires. The first time he's changed those today. Got another load of Sunoco fuel, and the race off of pit road. Lee, it looked pretty close between Tagliani and Regan Smith.
Dave, I think the 7 of Regan Smith may have just had it. What's happened to Boris Said? They're bringing the 54 back to the pit box, Alex.
Lee, he stalled the car when he popped the clutch when the jack dropped. the engine simply died. They can't figure out how to get it fired back up. Finally, they do so as he pulls away, but the car would not refire. The team pushed it to pit boxes, which is the maximum they can do by NASCAR rule. They had to pull him back in the box. He finally got it fired, but Boris said has just lost all kinds of track position.
Oh, and he was 8th before that happened. Boris said frustrating times for the 54. Drama for Daniel Suarez. Front of the 18 is damaged, and he's got tyre rub there as well. And indeed, it was the 7 of Regan Smith who won. Oh, it wasn't. So the 22 is ahead, so maybe Tag did beat him. Let's review that race off pit road.
Yeah, we'll see where the line is here. You can see the 7 made a great pit stop. Tagliani trying to beat him out to the line. Oh, really close.
You want to make the call?
They have camera there. I'll let the camera make the call, and NASCAR knows exactly who was there first. But a lot of damage on this 18 car, who had done a great job. This looks like, I don't know if this possibly happened on going into the pits or if they got jammed up coming out of the pits. You would think they would have taken the time to fix some of this if that happened on going in.
And in general, Suarez has had a good run today, so this will be a source of frustration. Now, considering the amount of cautions we've had today, keep in mind the fuel window. So the Xfinity cars around Mid-Ohio can go, well, under green flag circumstances, 30 laps would be right at the outer edge. So given the fact that we will more than likely get another yellow, should be good to go with this stop for the majority of the field. Suarez will have to get that seen to, though. Now, of course, at the regular tracks, at ovals, whatever the distance, spotters are very, very common. But it's also the situation here on road course racing as well. Spotters are all the way around the circuit, helping out their respective drivers get through. See the guy standing there? That is a full-time race car driver in his own right. That's Billy Johnson. Been associated with Ford and the Roush Fenway Group for a long time. Actually just won a race in the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge Series at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut a couple of weeks ago, driving the new Ford Shelby Mustang, which is a beautiful car. He and Scott Maxwell won. He's here acting on behalf of Ford and giving his road race expertise to the likes of Chris Buescher, who Chris very openly thanks and acknowledges for making him a better road racer.
I tell you, when you have someone like that you can lean on, listen to, and appreciate the talent that they have there, it makes you a better race car driver much quicker.
Alex, what's happening at the 18? Mad scramble to get it fixed.
Yeah, Lee, he pulled out of his pit box, was going down the pit lane, had contact with the 24 of Eric McClure. He damaged the left front corner of his orange Toyota. They're going to try to put that high-speed duct tape, bare bond, on top of it just to try to patch it down. You see here on the screen, that's the bright orange car. That is Daniel Suarez coming out of the very, very congested pit lane, and he made the contact to the back end of Eric McClure's blue and silver car, trying to turn in to that. Here's Chris Buescher's zest on board as he has to really jam the brakes. You see the contact with Daniel Suarez with the left front of his car. So what should have been the final stop and the money stop, well, the check just bounced for this team.
Well, that Xfinity on board with Chris Buescher showed us that he was also hassling Suarez to get the hurry up, and then obviously Eric McClure was slowing down and bang, the contact. What a shame for Daniel Suarez. Day was going very well for the man who leads the Sunoco Rookie of the Year standings, by the way.
Yeah, he was doing a great job, but unfortunately that pit road gets so busy, you're not sure who's coming in, who's leaving there. He didn't know exactly what the situation was. Chris Buescher, our points leader, very lucky that he wasn't involved with and get some damage on that also.
Keep in mind, big picture for Chris Buescher. Things have swung back in a positive way for him after 5 races, 5 consecutive races outside the top 10. Think about that. You have 5 races, 5 finishes outside the top 10, but you still maintain your lead in the championship. And he said the entire team, the engineering group, his crew chief himself, they knew that those 5 races were going to be a bit of a slog. Got to Watkins Glen, bingo, got 3rd behind the Penske Joe of Logano and Keselowski. Extended his lead a little bit, feels a bit more comfortable, and then this next run of races across a very diverse range of tracks, he feels very, very comfortable. He's back in the zone. Buescher, last year's winner, looking good maybe to repeat. Working our way back to green here as the 5th full course yellow comes to a close in the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200. When we went to the break, Looked like the 22 of Alex Tagliani may have taken the top spot. Hey, there's nothing like a little bit of replay. Check this out. We'll do it again from the onboard. The Ford EcoBoost onboard of Alex Tagliani. Look to the right, the second line. Easily the 7 of Regan Smith beats Tagliani out of the pits, and NASCAR has reversed the order.
Great pit stop by that crew of getting Regan Smith out there where he can be in control of this restart. That could be the difference in him having a chance to win this race.
Updating you on the Daniel Suarez situation, unfortunately for the JGR driver, that incident in pit lane has dropped him from the top 10 down to 31st position. 31 laps to go. It's a Regan Smith, Alex Tagliani front row, ready to see the green here at Mid-Ohio. Let's go! And the 7 immediately jumps to the front. Great restart from Regan Smith, and around the outside goes Chris Buescher, being forced on the inside there. Outside, around Ty Dillon, he goes. Elliott Sadler's tucked in. Tagliani thinks about an inside move on Regan Smith. Can't do it, not close enough.
See Ty Dillon trying to hang tight there.
The big talk coming out of Watkins Glen between Regan Smith and Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon said, I know it was my fault. I hit the 7 and took him out. And he said, I was going to go and talk to him, but then Regan was pretty hot under the collar and came up and started shoving me around. Regan Smith said to our Mike Massaro on air, that may have been my championship destroyed today, and I'll make sure that the 3 certainly doesn't win the championship. We think that NASCAR may have had a quiet word to both the guys, calmed them down a little bit and said, just get on with some good hard racing.
Yeah, that's usually the protocol. They'll get them in, have a little talk, and have everybody moving on from that incident. We've seen these 2 cars, the 9 and the 2, together and side by side more today than any other 2 cars. They've done a great job of battling. Chase Elliott able to take that spot away from Brian Scott once again.
Not sure that car is just in the sweet spot where Brian Scott wants it. He looks like his hands are full, getting back up to speed on this opening lap of the restart. Dylan Lupton's had a nice run in the 25 today. This has been impressive. He has consistently been in the top 10. We'll see if he can maintain it. Here's the rundown. Regan Smith, Alex Tagliani, Chris Buescher, Ty Dillon, Elliott Sadler, Chase Elliott, Brian Scott, Dylan Lupton. Then we pick up Brandon Jones, and Ryan Reed now pushes his way into the top 10. He had a turn 1 altercation with Kenny Habul earlier. That hasn't affected him. And in the background, look at this, locking it up in the 88, Ben Rhodes. Gaunt saw him coming, so too did Justin Marks.
Yeah, we saw Ben Rhodes have some problems early on, but he's been able to hang in there, trying to work his way back towards that top 10 now.
Hey, Dave, what do you think about the guys up front?
The guys up front include the crew that put that 7 car back together again after Watkins Glen. Before that race, crew chief Jason Burdett told me, we've got 1 road course car we want to use for all 3 events, and it got significant damage to itself at the end of the, we've shown the plays, the replay where he gets into the fence at the end of Watkins Glen. So the crew went to work hard, took 1 day to hang a body on that 7 car and get it back down the road for this race. Regan said, credit my crew, they worked hard this week.
Well, think about the frustration coming into today's event as Ryan Reed thinks about the inside there. Couldn't quite do it on Brandon Jones in the 33. Regan Smith had that terrific runner-up finish at Iowa Speedway a couple of weeks back. So he carried that momentum to Watkins Glen, where he was in a position for perhaps another top 5 or maybe even a win. Who knows? Logano was so strong last weekend. And he wanted to keep that championship momentum going. He's a championship contender yet again for Junior Motorsports in this 2015 Xfinity Series title race, and he felt that took a major dent because the 4 races before that he had a good momentum as well. Perhaps today it's not too late, DJ. He can turn it around.
Never too late. Anything can happen. A lot of cars on the lead lap. He just has to do his job. He can't control what the 60 does. All he can try to do is make the most points that he possibly can and take advantage if something should happen to this 60 somewhere along the way, and he can have a big point stake, get himself right back in the middle of it. And we're talking about the pit crew of the 7. How about the pit crew of Elliott Sadler, too? He dropped back to, I believe, 9th before we had that caution. Came in, did a great job up inside the top 5 again.
That very, very much amended livery, the paint job on the 7 of Regan Smith, and Regan's patient champion, one of the kids from the Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, who's being treated there. His patient champion, he's racing for Laney Roll. Drama for Boris Said, the 54's on the grass, on the downhill slope on the backside of turn 5. And Boris is not one to have done that by himself. We'll find out on the replay if there was help. It usually is. There's damage on the back of the car.
Yeah, you get yourself back there. You're frustrated as a driver. You start trying to make your way back forward. We'll see if it was a situation where you have a replay, if he got some contact, or if it was just trying to be a little more aggressive than what you can be. Not many opportunities and passing spots here.
Here it is. Here's the replay, Boris said. Ooh,
yeah.
Who was that immediately behind him? It was, I think it was Jeremy Clements, was it? Or it might have been the 28 of J.J. Yaley. Similar paint schemes car, but definitely Boris got help. Inside run, Brendan Gaughan on Justin Marks. Not quite close enough. And in the background, Darrell Wallace Jr. Bubba there gives Gaughan just a little tap heading into turn 2. And the 15 is wounded. Carlos Contreras, pardon me. Will this bring out yet another yellow?
Yeah, it certainly looked like he wasn't under power much there. It looked like he had already been off in the grass also. You could see the grass on the front of his car.
Justin Marks, some frustration starting to come to the surface there with the 33 of Brandon Jones, looking for a way by. And look how bunched up they are.
Yeah, and all of this is going to start picking up. These laps are winding down. Drivers understand it. Where before they only had a couple of spots that they were looking at making passes, now it's wherever they can stick their nose in there and get a spot.
This is some in, some out around that top 10 spot. This is good, hard Xfinity racing. I can tell you that the 15 of Carlos Contreras did make it to pit road. So no yellow for him. And look at this. Justin Marks is just working over the 33 of Brandon Jones. The teenager making his debut performance for the Mid-Ohio road course race. He's holding off a guy who has been victorious here in sports car racing. Can he do it for one more time up into turn 2?
Yeah, he's going to have his hands full, though. A young driver trying to get everything he can out of this car, but he's got a lot of experience behind him. You're having to make sure you do your job. Brendan Gaughan trying to make him make room. That's what he does. A little contact there.
Wow, and look at that, Bubba Wallace. Opportunistic. He was there to pounce. Puts the 6 on the inside of Brendan Gaughan. Can he carry it through turn 3 and down the back straight? If he can position his car there, he'll be in the perfect spot heading towards turn 4. So Justin Marks held on, and Gaughan's big dive didn't quite work. He ended up losing a position.
Those are the chances and opportunities that you have to try to take here because there are so few passing zones. That was one of the areas that you could make a pass. A little contact. Brendan couldn't get back to the throttle. Bubba Wallace took advantage.
Up front, Regan Smith has almost a full 1 second lead over Alex Tagliani. Chris Buescher is just glued to Tagliani. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, and that 1 second has evaporated. Tagliani is closed up on the 7. Junior Motorsports, Team Penske and Roush Fenway. We've got a Chevy and a couple of Fords in the top 3. Whose will this be today? Are we going to get a new winner here at Mid-Ohio?
Searching for a great used car?
Can you help?
Start with the millions of used cars for sale at the new Carfax.com.
Show me cars with no accidents. Show me no accidents and 1 owner. Show me no accident, 1 owner cars with service records. That's awesome.
That's the power of Carfax. Find the cars you want, avoid the ones you don't. Plus, you get a free Carfax report with every listing. Start your used car search at Carfax.com.
How's the queso? Tim, we need to hang out more. Tim-nado, T-bone. Actually, my name is Brian.
Tostitos rolls chips. Bring the party.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
Introducing Fast Foods First All Natural Burger. With no added hormones, no antibiotics, and no steroids.
I just wanna break the rules.
The All Natural Burger at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
Sprint asks, what makes a great family plan?
We need 4 lines.
And data. A lot of data.
How about 4 lines with 10 gigs of data to share for $100?
$100.
Really?
Yep, that's way less than Verizon or AT&T and more than double the high-speed data of T-Mobile.
But we're locked in our contract.
Not anymore. Sprint will pay off your old phone and contract so you can switch.
Goodbye, AT&T.
Everybody's switching to the best family plan from Sprint. Get 4 lines with unlimited talk, text, and 10 gigs of high-speed data to share for only $100 a month. And now get your new phone delivered and set up for free with Sprint Direct to you.
What does 3,000 rotations a minute look like?
Free ride is on. Get 0% financing for 72 months for qualified buyers, so you're free from interest for 6 years. That's on every 2015 car, SUV, and truck, so you're free to choose. Plus 1,000 bonus cash direct from Ford on cars and SUVs, so you're free to save. Interest-free financing on every 2015 Ford, plus 1,000 bonus cash on cars and SUVs. Hurry, the Ford free ride ends soon at your local Ford dealer.
The 24 of Eric McClure has limped back around to pit road, and we are under a full course caution again as he heads to the garage area. 6th full course yellow, and the belief is that there is some form of fluid on the racing surface. So the likes of Alex Tagliani, who we see with the Ford EcoBoost, yes.
Yeah, you still have to make sure that you're saving fuel even. They probably have enough to get to the end of 75 laps, but with what we've seen, there is a good chance that we could have some overtime. And so you want to make sure that you have the opportunity right now to save fuel, and that's what the majority of these drivers are doing. You have to still keep up while you're going around, but a good opportunity for that.
Coasting at any opportunity, Alex Tagliani, and he's not the only one, as we see the 52 now ahead to the grass. Still under power. Well, it's a little bit of a strange situation. I'll show you what happened here. Ooh.
Yeah, that could have been possibly where the fluid was or something like that.
Correct.
That they were talking about while we're under caution here.
Joey Gase, they're able to get the car back on track and head back to the group. So it's been very much a stop-start affair today with 23 laps to go, under our 6th full course yellow. You know what this is setting up for? Quite the finish.
Yeah. Turn 2 is going to be exciting. It's been exciting every restart, but as these laps wind down, it's certainly going to become the focal point of trying to make a pass, get what you can get on these restarts.
This could be a huge day for Alex Tagliani. He's come close on a couple of occasions, winning in Xfinity Series competition. There he is. The veteran Canadian driver recently became a new dad. He and his wife Bronte, who gave birth to their beautiful little daughter Eva Rose, who is here at Mid-Ohio today. If he could win for his little girl and win for his patient champion as well, that'd be a special day. First raced here many, many years ago in the Toyota Atlantic Series before progressing to kart, Champ Car. He raced here in Atlantic, a kart, IndyCar. He's raced here in a Ford Mustang sports car. Raced here in Xfinity Series competition. Knows how to maneuver a variety of machines around this 2.4-mile Mid-Ohio course. There he is.
Yeah, would like nothing better than to get this Xfinity win here today. He, outstanding road racer that he is. Just to come in here, hasn't been in the car. It wasn't like he went and tested and got used to the car again since last year. Just showed up here Friday. Yesterday was the first time he was back in the race car, doing an outstanding job.
His car, as far as owner's points in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series north of the border, is leading that championship. He's a little further down in the driver's standings because he's unable to do every race because of conflicts like the Indianapolis 500 that he competed in this year. But Tagliani is he's the epitome of determination. Just never give up, because even when he lost, and I'm going back a few years here now, when he lost his full-time IndyCar Series ride, he did other things. And this was a great lesson for younger drivers who maybe your career path hasn't gone exactly the way you want. He stuck to it, went back, put it on the pole position at the Indy 500 for Brian Herter Autosport, and it reignited and resurrected his career. Brendan Gaughan is in. Jim's there.
Crew Chief Shane Wilson said, we didn't come here to run 10, so he's going to put tires on this car, top off the fuel tank, ensuring they're okay for a green, white, checkered finish, and 4 tires for Brendan Gaughan. A lot of discussion about whether or not to give up track position. They were hoping a lot more people would join them on pit road, guys.
So Gaughan, not the only one. Service Boris Sets decided to bring the 54 in as well. Look at this.
Yeah, probably a good move. We saw him earlier have that spin. You don't know how much he might have locked the tires up there or spun. Yep, flat spotted, off in the grass. You don't ever know. Might as well take this opportunity. He was way behind anyway. Wasn't going to gain a whole lot. Kenny Aboyle, it was back on the lead lap. He took the wave around before we went back to green that last time. So with all of his problems, he is back on the lead lap here today.
Speaking about problems, you can just go down the checklist, DJ. Kenny Aboyle, JGR, a drama-filled day. Daniel Suarez running great, problems on pit lane. He gets sent further down the order. Boris Said starts in the top 10, starts really strongly. He's been punted and turned around and had a whole bunch of problems. So for JGR, it has not been a very enjoyable or productive day, unfortunately. Alex, what do you have?
I've got Ernie Cope, crew chief for Chase Elliott, with 22 laps to go. You're in the 5th spot, Ernie. Do you guys have enough Sunoco fuel to make it to the end?
We're really close. 2 more caution laps, and I believe we'll make it. Nothing for a green, white checker, but we're a little off on fuel mileage this weekend. But Napa Chevrolet is running fast. We got speed. Get a couple more caution laps. The way this race has been playing out, I think that shouldn't be a problem.
Ernie Cope, optimistic he's going to get a couple of more caution flag laps, but as of right now, they are short on Sunoco fuel. Dave?
Alex will check with his teammate in the 7 car leading this race, Jason Burdett. How is your fuel situation, and what do you think of Regan's performance so far?
Well, you know, we've had a solid day with the Nationwide Children's Hospital, Tax Slayer, Camaro. This last caution puts us really close to our window right here. So if we get maybe 1 or 2 more laps of caution, we should be able to race it all the way to the end without any real worries, you know.
After practice yesterday, I talked with Regan. He seemed very confident about the race car. Were you as confident as he?
Yeah, no, we turned a lot of really good laps yesterday, and he was very comfortable with it in the braking zones and with the forward drive. And at this track particular, you know, that's what you really need to focus on.
All right, 7 car leading, but restarts coming, Lee.
And we're still rolling around behind the pace car. Yeah, lights still on, so we're going to do another lap. It looked like we were going back to green that lap, but we'll do another 2.4 miles here at Mid-Ohio before we see racing. 22 to go. And for sure, the 9 of Chase Elliott, not the only one, kind of treading a very fine line as far as fuel good to go. And also, you heard Ernie Cope there throw in, we have enough, but not for a green, white checkered. So this will help that situation.
Yeah, all you can do is try to plan the way that the cautions have flown today, and on the laps that they did, all you can do is save what you can and hope that you can make it to lap 75. That's the advertised distance, and if a green, white checker comes about, then you've got to deal with that at that point in time.
So while we're on the yellow here, quick reminder about what is coming up tomorrow. We've got a full plate for you. Here's the menu. NASCAR America will kick things off in Michigan at 1:30. 2 o'clock, countdown to green with Chris DeVoda and the gang. And then we'll have racing for you from Michigan International from 2:30. And as always, so much post-race coverage with the post-race show NASCAR America. And then each Sunday night, 11 p.m. Eastern here on NBCSN, it's NASCAR Victory Lap. Wrapping up the whole weekend of racing that has been thoroughly enjoyable so far. And we are far from done here at Mid-Ohio, and Michigan just getting cranked up for the big one tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited about that high drag package that they have, and seeing these drivers manipulate that and the drafting effect that it has. I think we're in for an outstanding race to watch tomorrow.
And this one, not yet done. 20 frantic laps, 21. It'll be 20 when they come around to see green. 20 frantic laps to come here at Mid-Ohio. Let's walk our way through the field, and we start with Dave Burns. Dave-O?
It cracked me up, Lee, while I was on top of the 7 pit box talking to Jason Burdett. Behind us was patient champion Laney. She helped design this race car. It has butterflies and cupcakes and a giraffe on it. Those are some of her favorite things, and purple is her favorite color. And all this a week after tough guy Regan Smith confronted the 3 of Ty Dillon on pit road after the race. So I just find it kind of fun. And as far as 22 of Alex Tagliani goes, he has driven many race cars in many different countries. You've noted that earlier, Lee. So when he made a pass on Chris Buescher going through turn 1 on the outside, his crew chief Greg Irwin chirped, that was world class, and it certainly was. As for the 60 of Chris Buescher, trying to win for the 2nd year in a row and keep his championship lead going. The car is very, very good. He just needed some more drive off after that last pit stop. They made a slight air pressure adjustment for him. And as far as the 3 of Ty Dillon goes, he was also looking for that drive off the corner, trying to keep his nose clean as they come back to Greenlee.
We're going to have 20 laps to go. Oh, Elliott Sadler keen to get going. That number 1 just stepped out there as he stomped on the throttle. That's what they're all going to do now as we see green at Mid-Ohio. And a great restart from Regan Smith. Stomped on it hard and got the early jump on Alex Tagliani, who gets a little out of shape. Buescher's on the inside. Chris Buescher and Alex Tagliani side by side through 1. Elliott Sadler wants to buy in on this as well. And here comes Chase Elliott. Far left of your screen. The 3 of Ty Dillon's in the mix there as well. Woo, that was a frantic one. They've all sorted themselves out now in turn 2. Lupton was riding high on that rumble strip, but now they get to stretch their legs, and championship contender Ty Dillon may have just forced that number 3 on the inside of Chris Buescher. They're side by side in the braking zone.
We saw Ty Dillon in the middle of some anxious moments last week at Watkins Glen, trying to make a tough pass right there. Can Chris Buescher hold him off here?
You know who the sneaky one here is? Keep your eyes on that 9. Over the last 2 seasons on road course racing, Chase Elliott has the best average finish at just over 5th. Sneaky quiet, but super consistent. He is the reigning Xfinity Series champ for a very good reason.
Yeah, you know, his dad was excellent on the road courses too, so he had a good teacher in doing this with Bill Elliott. He's really been strong today, and where he's really strong, as we mentioned about he and Regan Smith, is getting to these high braking areas. They're able to outbrake them. They're very comfortable with their cars, and that situation allows them to make passes that others can't.
Talk about the quiet achiever. Have a look a couple of cars back at the 16 Roush Fenway Ford of Ryan Reed. The Daytona winner earlier in the year. See that bright red car there? Right there on screen behind his Roush Fenway teammate. Here goes Chase Elliott. Draws alongside Ty Dillon. These two are tied in the championship points race. 24 back from Chris Buescher, and Ty Dillon pretty strong on the brakes there.
Yeah, he really did a nice job. I think Chase Elliott was trying to set that up to where he might make a big run. Let's see if he can make the pass right here. This is where he's made a couple of other moves on other drivers.
Up front, Regan Smith hanging tough. He's got a nice cushion over this. Now switching sides, Chase Elliott will take the inside into turn 4. That's the smart move. Now can Ty Dillon hang on, because the switchback, yeah, that's the way to do it. Hangs on that inside line. Good driving from both young men.
Oh, what great racing right there.
This is what it looked like, the Chevrolet onboard of Ty Dillon. Oh, little tap there. Little bit of damage on the hood, no major. How about that? Here's 1, 2, 3.
Yes, like he missed a shift there maybe. Didn't get the RPMs matched up, and Chase Elliott really did a nice job of not getting into him any harder and causing any more damage there.
1 driving for his first Xfinity championship. The guy we're looking at trying to defend it before he heads off to become a full-time Sprint Cup Series driver in the 24 for Hendrick Motorsports. 2 fabulous stories, and 2 guys who came into this race tied on points.
Yeah, the problem is, and the guy they're trying to chase down, they can see up ahead of them, outrunning both of them once again today.
Elliott Sadler still in the mix. Behind him, Ryan Reed, Brian Scott, who we thought would be a bigger player today after leading a race-high 39 laps last year. Justin Marks in 9th and Darrell Wallace Jr. in the 10. How about this? After what was controversial, disastrous weekend at Watkins Glen just a week ago, if Regan Smith could convert that into a race victory here at Mid-Ohio. Different winner for the opening 2 years here for the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200. A.J. Allmendinger the first year for Team Penske. And then, of course, last year, Chris Buescher in his Roush Fenway Ford, notching up his first career victory. Not only just his first road course win.
Yeah, and one thing that I've been seeing is on these restarts, the 22 up, Regan Smith got in there a little bit hot, had to lock the brakes up just a little bit. But it takes Alex Tagliani's car a little bit to come in and really force the issue. So if we have a green-white check or something like that, that might not be to his advantage. But the longer they go, it seems that his car is better, and maybe even the driver a little bit better in that situation with the tires getting hot.
Tell that story that we were talking about earlier when I said to you, is this Tagliani's to lose? You said, well, I look at it a different way.
Well, I like to put a little different spin. I think that it's his race to win. This is his one opportunity. You know, he's not looking at anything besides winning this race today in Alex's mind is going to be a failure for him because he realizes that he's probably the best road racer and he has an excellent team behind him. So he looks at this as his opportunity to go take the checkered flag. This is his only time that he's going to get this chance this year, and I think he's going to do whatever it may take to put himself in that position.
You want to be inside a Team Penske Ford? You want to be racing for the win? Turn up the volume. Let's take a ride with Alex Tagliani.
Just a little bit there. That's good. 210.
Dale Jarrett, how did you respond to those radio commands and communications? Good work, 2/10, caught him by 2/10. Did that really spur you on?
Okay, yeah, there's a couple of things that I see right here. The 22 of Tagliani's a little better rolling through the center. You can see his car. He gains on him at that point. Regan Smith really good on the exit of the corner. But the one thing that you see, Regan Smith locking the brakes up some. He's really charging these corners to make sure that he keeps this 22 car behind him. That could force him into making a mistake. And all it's going to take is just a slight bobble by this 7 car, and Regan Smith, and 22 is going to pounce.
15.5 laps to go. What do you got, Dave?
Guys, we played the radio earlier where Greg Irwin was telling driver Alex Tagliani the tires you'll have on for this part of the race, they only changed them once, remember, will have fewer laps than the other. So the driver knows that he's got more tire to work with late in the run here than he did to halfway.
This is tight. This is tense, and it's for the win of the race. In the background, Chris Buescher's kind of fallen back a little bit. He's almost 2 seconds in arrears of Alex Tagliani running in third. Ty Dillon has consolidated his 4th spot ahead of Chase Elliott. So that battle continues. They're close, but it's kind of calmed down a little bit. Ty Dillon has some ground to make up if he's going to do anything about Chris Buescher. Meanwhile, we need to give you a Toyota update as we pick up J.J. Yaley running in 16th. And Daniel Suarez, wow, it's kind of one of those days where you scratch your head. Whoa, 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 side by side here. The Toyota men fighting it out in turn 1. Suarez was poised for a top 10 result, and now he's having to really work hard. Let's go back up front because Tagliani's turning up the heat on Regan Smith. Watch this. In his draft, pulls out, has a look at the inside, in the braking zone to turn 4.
Right rear.
Good, nice and close. And Tagliani eases that discount tire forward by the 7.
Yeah, that's where his car's just so good, is rolling through that center part. He had the preferred line right there. What a great pass. There was just nothing Regan Smith could do there. He's done an excellent job out front. He didn't make a mistake there. Tagliani got a great run off of turn 2. That allowed him to get up there and then out-brake just a little bit and then carry that speed through the center. That's how you make a perfect pass in one of the couple of opportunities, passing zones here.
One of the things that really made Alex Tagliani furious here a year ago. Still representing the captain, Roger Penske, was sitting pretty. He was sitting second and on a pit stop, sped on pit road. Was forced to come back in for a drive-through, and that really kind of hampered his day. Road America last year was running second, got sent all the way back to 23rd, drove his way through the field and chased Brendan Gaughan down to the checkered flag. Maybe one more lap, he may have got Brendan in that amazing race in mixed weather conditions. However, this has been a much more composed day for the Canadian. Watch this, let's relive the pass. Nice and smooth, nothing crazy.
Yeah, if you're going to show a young driver this is how you make a pass, that's exactly what you would show right there.
Through the gears, some 900 gear changes over these 75 laps.
And what the things that you talked about, as we have J.J. Yeley spun around here, see if he can get it going, keep us from having another caution. Looks like he's going to get headed in the right direction.
J.J. and Landon Castle doing double duty this weekend here at Mid-Ohio and Michigan. What happened? Was Daniel Suarez involved? No.
Well, he may have been just from the standpoint of pressuring. We saw the great racing that they were having there, and sometimes it makes you try to get there and carry a little more speed to try to keep that spot. Like the just didn't have the grip.
You were really taken aback by that turn this morning when you did your lap around. Not only is it downhill, but it's downhill off camber, right at the point where you've got to get on the gas.
Yeah, it really makes it tough. You watch Ryan Reed right here. You know, he won that opening race, as you pointed out, at Daytona, has not had a top 10 the rest of the year. It's been a struggle for him. What a great job he's done here today.
He was in the thick of it, and not in a good way in Iowa, where he felt he had a good result taken away from him. But this is just good, calm, level-headed driving as he works his way up. It's his first appearance at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. To Jim Noble.
Let's not forget that this is the first outing for Ryan Reed with his new crew chief, Chad Norris. His former crew chief, Seth Barber, was the only voice that Ryan Reed had ever heard in his helmet, dating way back to his late model days. So I asked Ryan yesterday, what's been the biggest difference? He said Chad is more direct, he's more vocal, got along great with Seth Barber, but Chad has been really pumping up the youngster on this last run, telling him he has enough fuel to get to the end, and don't save any right now, Dave.
Jim, the fuel situation for the leader Tagliani. He was told that he has enough fuel to get to the scheduled distance, but save for a green-white checkered. Also, crew chief Dreger, when imploring the spotters around the track, help us not take this away. If there is grass on the track, tell us where. If there's a slow car, tell us where. We don't want to lose this thing now. Alex?
Dave, Chase Elliott, we heard his crew chief Ernie Cope under the last caution say they were a couple of laps shy on fuel to make it to the distance. He's been pressuring hard, but he was been told to save fuel. He's got to save it in order to maintain in the points to get to the advertised distance of 75 laps.
Keep in mind that last year's race winner, as we look at Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, went 38 laps on his final stint. I asked him yesterday, when did you go into fuel conservation mode? He said, the moment I left pit lane. He said, obviously, it really got difficult in the last 10 to dozen laps. He said, you know what the funny thing was? The more I saved fuel, actually, the faster I went. My rolling corner speed was increased. He said it was bizarre, but it was enjoyable. And he said, I didn't tell my crew chief, but on the last lap, the warning light came on. He said it was that close.
Yeah, he had a big lead to deal with that there, so he was able to back off and roll through the corners and, yeah, pick up your speed sometimes. Sometimes you can go faster while you're saving that fuel. He's not in that situation now, but I do believe that he's right where he needs to be in this race. Certainly he would like to go back to victory lane here, but if he can come out of here finishing ahead of the majority of the guys that are right, or the closest, the two guys running fourth and fifth right now, Ty Dillon and Chase Elliott, this will be a victory of sorts for him to come away from this road course with gaining some more points.
So you get a bonus point for leading a lap, you get a bonus point for leading the most laps. And for as far as the championship contenders who are up against this 60, the guy immediately in front of him, Regan Smith, is some 57 points behind. The guys who are the closest are behind the 60, and that's DJ's point. So it's looking right. The picture is looking right for the 60 car. How is the picture looking with 11 laps to go for Alex Tagliani? Can he add another major accomplishment to what has been a very lengthy and successful career?
Yeah, this is the position. You know, he does it. This is the one time that he does this. You talk about all the problems that he's had. You know, speeding on pit road, different things that crop up. You know, when you're only doing it one time, sometimes you can want things a little bit too much. We've got another problem here.
Oh boy, that looks like Ryan Reed. Is it Ryan Reed on the left aisle and Justin Marks? These guys were running in the top 10. They were running 8th and 9th.
That's going to get us a caution. I don't think he can get out of this.
So that's going to help fuel-wise for everybody who was questionable. It's going to pack us up for the 7th time. We see the double yellows fly. Full course caution to rescue Ryan Reed. And there's a little telltale sign there. The front of the Lexus Chevy for Justin Marks, racing for the first time with H. Scott Motorsports with Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yeah, just remember this 22 car, our leader, Alex Tagliani, as I pointed out, he has not been at his very best right after the restarts. That hasn't been his strong point. Regan Smith's going to be on there and ready to go.
What are they saying at the 16 camp, Jim?
Well, the exact quote from Ryan Reed was, "The 42 dive bombed me. What an idiot." Ryan Reed had that really, really good run. You know, back at the beginning, Chad Norris was telling him to aggressively save fuel. He had just basically taken the reins off Ryan Reed and told him to go get him. Alex?
Jim, Ryan Reed's sentiments were correct. Justin Marks came on the radio and said that was my fault. He drove it in there just way too deep.
Justin's a racer. He's been around for a long time. He knows the deal, and putting up his hand and saying, yep, I went in there too deep. Look at the grass and debris across the grill. That'll need to be cleaned off and sent. So a shame for both drivers who were well placed in the top 10 as we regroup one more time. How many more times are we going to say this? We'll regroup. 10 to go here at Mid-Ohio. It's going to set up for a spectacular finish. Great to have you with us with our live coverage of the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 here at Mid-Ohio as we get ready to go racing for what we think will be the final time. 7 full course cautions today. It has been just one of those days. We've seen a little bit of everything, Dale Jarrett, haven't we? Some terrific racing, some respectful racing. There's been some odd incidents as well. But now this will give everybody a chance just to race honestly to the end without any worries about fuel.
Yeah, they're probably okay as far as getting there now, but what it's going to do is set up an opportunity here once again for drivers to try to get what they can on this restart. They might know this is their last opportunity. Passing around this place is difficult. Get what you can in these first 4 corners.
Dave Burns.
We are checking in with Greg Irwin. He calls the shots for Alex Tagliani today, but looks like he's been calling the shots pretty well so far.
It's been a good day for our Discount Tire Mustang. Alex has not made a mistake that I'm aware of this weekend. He's doing a terrific job, not only in practice but qualifying, and you know, I think it's pretty good. Looks like 7 has found a little speed here certainly, and this late yellow here going to help bunch the field up and put a good show on for the fans for the Nationwide Hospital 200, and we got our super fan Kaylee here cheering us on. So she's been here the entire race, and hopefully we can get her W.
Being the control car at the end of this, how important for Alex?
Yeah, it really did help. When we were leading here and we could get to the inside here under the bridge, it was terrific. He's been hanging tough on the outside, but we know it really makes that corner hard, and we know how aggressive the guys get at the end of the race, so much prefer to be on the inside.
All right, hey, and I agree with Greg. I think this is going to be a good show for the fans.
And think about Greg Irwin and how good he is at his job in the crew chief role. But he's seen victory lane with a variety of drivers already.
Yeah, I think that's what's impressive is the number of drivers that he deals with, even though they're all excellent at what they do, but taking all of these different drivers to victory lane.
Alex Tagliani. What must be going through his mind to get it to the line and to see that checkered flag first. And the 22, as we just heard Greg mention, the 22 is driving for patient champion Kylie Leonard. And again, the 10 children who are treated at the Nationwide Children's Hospital just north of Columbus. Just 10 of many. I think I mentioned earlier in the show, more than 1 million patient visits at that facility, which is within the top 3 pediatric facilities in the country, and it's an amazing research facility as well, DJ.
It really is. And these drivers, this is a special weekend for them for a lot of reasons. Obviously, they love coming here. But because of these opportunities right here, it makes it more special. They love to collect trophies, but what they like to do is put smiles on kids' faces, and that's the opportunity they have here today.
All right, well, we're still under caution. Let's take you back and let's show you how we arrived at this moment. Let's get you up to speed with our race recap, because it's been an eventful day, to say the least. Alex Tagliani starting on the pole for Team Penske, but Chris Buescher on the outside in the 60 made his intentions pretty clear right from the drop of the green. Good clean start. Ty Dillon was in the mix, as he shows us here, as he gives Chris Buescher a little tap. Didn't see that on the initial start. And then David Starr came to a halt. This brought out our first yellow of the day, first of 7 full course yellows. Kenny Habul had a wild ride.
Yeah, had a right front tire go down, was able to keep going through the sand trap there, but it happened at the worst possible spot. You can see the damage that it did. Had to get to pit road and make some repairs, get some tires back on it.
JJ Yaley and Boris said through the final sequence of turns, this put the 28 sideways and back around. They could all get through. And then Darrell Wallace Jr. spent some time in the sand.
Yeah, but did a fantastic job of getting that car back out and going.
Ben Rhodes had a really strong run early on. We go to one of the restarts, and oh boy, yep, that was Kenny Habul coming off turn 1, and he was tagged by the 16 of Ryan Reed. Around he goes. And that's not the last we'd see of Ryan Reed. Look at this, for Daniel Suarez tagging the back of Eric McClure, and that would have a really bad result for him.
Yeah, unfortunate, because he had a great day going, but you can see our points leader, Chris Buescher, doing a nice job of stopping and avoiding contact there.
Pass for the lead, and it was a pretty straightforward one. Alex Tagliani drawing alongside Regan Smith. Regan doing as you should as the leader. Tried to defend a little bit, tried to squeeze tag, but in the end he knew he had to relinquish that position. This 22 car has been flying all weekend long. So there you have it. And our race summary, we know who our leader is, Alex Tagliani. He has been the dominant car. It's been the dominant car, the 22. 6 leaders, 7 lead changes, and 7 cautions, as we mentioned earlier, for a total of 22. That eclipses what was done here a year ago. 5 cautions for 17 last year. So Tagliani, the leader for Team Penske. Can he notch up a win in this event today? Well, if he does, for the captain, for Roger Penske and the Xfinity team, this 22 car has been enjoying a pretty nice run in recent times. We said right at the top of the show in Countdown to Green, Team Penske has won 4 of the last 7 road course races. In this season specifically, has won 3 of the last 5 races. So, Team Penske in a sweet spot in the Xfinity Series right now.
Time to get the lane you want, and going on you in between the reds.
Lights are off on the pace car. It all comes down to this. When they hit the line, 7 to go at Mid-Ohio. Tagliani will have the preferred run into turn 1. However, we've seen on a number of occasions today that it is possible to go around the outside. Got to be positioned just well enough, just right. As we get ready, look at Regan Smith crowding Alex Tagliani. Green, and we go. Is this for the final time at Mid-Ohio? The run, the race for the win. Inside, Chris Buescher on Ty Dillon. Now that drag up the long hill to turn 2, the keyhole. Bubba Wallace and Brian Scott going at it. Chase Elliott defends from Elliott Sadler. Whoa, and look at Wallace. Wallace is on the grass. And does he hit his Roush Fenway teammate? No, he doesn't. But there's, oh, look at this. There is a huge collision. Kenny Habul, Tommy Dreesy in it. And the 33 as well.
You got Brandon Jones there, right in the middle of that.
So I guess our question is answered. It's not for the final time.
No, but Ty Dillon made a great pass there on Chris Buescher to take that 3rd spot away.
Tommy Dreesy. And he's going to need a little help.
Battery's dead.
Getting the straight out of Compton 26 back to pit road. Wow. Here's Brandon Jones. And for the majority of the race, the 33.
Right rear pulled out on the guys. It's all the way up against the back tire. Clear all around, buddy. Get caught up.
Has had a reasonable run. Let's take you back and show you what happened on that run. Look a little bit to the left of your screen. Look towards the back there. And this is it.
Yeah, and things started getting jammed up here in front. You can see everybody in Kenny Bull there had to start slowing down, tried to avoid, but he made the first contact there.
He took evasive action, but in the end, unfortunately, he hit his JGR teammate, Boris said.
Yeah.
Look at that monster car, center of your screen, the black car. Look further back. There's Kenny Bull. Trying to go up the inside, then came switching back across. Collected Boris, and there's Tommy Dreese, last to arrive on the scene. This is on board with Kenny Bull.
Yeah, looks like he might get off course here just a little bit. Let's see if he does that as he tries to come back on as they slow down. See, he gets off, and then, yeah, as he tries to brake hard, the car's just out of control, gets in Borset, and then things stack up from that point.
And at the back, straight out of Compton, straight into Jones. This is Tommy Dreese. Tommy, for many, many years, has worked in the Hollywood movie scene. You know what he does? His company manufactures the cardboard standees. So when you go into your local movie theater and you see the cardboard standees, they're promoting current movie or upcoming movies. That's what this guy does. He's been doing it very successfully for a lot of years in Hollywood. And motor racing has long been his passion. He's been around for a long time, races in a variety of categories, and treats himself to some NASCAR road courses each and every year. I want to take you back to the restart and keep a close eye on Alex Tagliani here. Let's have a look at what kind of a restart he has in relation to the green flag. So there, Regan Smith there, making life a little bit hard.
But you see the two red lines there where the restart point really is supposed to be. Looked like Alex Tagliani might have got a little break there, taking off early. It's a very small window that they have to restart these races, and he certainly wanted to be able to get the jump, and it's the league prerogative there to start when he thinks, but he has to be within those lines.
Now that's our review.
Yep.
Wonder if NASCAR's
of course, we're
reviewing.
looking, yeah, and we're looking back down from the camera angle that we have, so it's going to be off just a little bit, but it certainly looked like that he had started powering up before he got to that point, which is what I would have done too if I was the leader of the race. Just saying.
Switching off and reigniting, saving every bit of fuel possible.
Well, yeah, and mainly because now they were expecting to get to the advertised distance of 75 laps, and the way these restarts are going and go most of the time.
Are you saying green, white, check?
At least one, yes. They're probably starting now. They're probably okay for one now with what they're going. It's that second one that they're concerned about.
Show you from a different angle here, that restart.
And we really can't see the lines that are on the wall there as to where they can go.
Here we go. This is on board with Tagliani. That tell you more, DJ?
Well, I mean, it's always questionable. I mean, it looked like certainly before where those marks are that he did start powering up before he was at that point. But NASCAR basically likes for you to be in that vicinity, and it wasn't like that he restarted well before that. And so I'm sure there's probably been a warning sent down saying, hey, make sure that your driver understands where this restart point is, and on this next restart, let's make it happen in between there.
Dave, what's your take on the restart?
I'll give you Greg Irwin's take. In his words, Alex, your restart drew some criticism from the tower. So he was told you need to pay attention to those red lines. You're doing well, but just no.
And perhaps in fairness, not only to Tagliani, but whomever is taking that restart in the lead position, it's a pretty tight restart zone, wouldn't you say?
Very, very tight, yes. And I would like to see that widen, but NASCAR has their reasons for doing that, and so you understand that. You know what it is. But in Alex's defense, he's not a full-time driver. This is his only race. So, you know, trying to remember everything that goes on here with these races and the rules makes it a little bit difficult sometimes. So, you know, you appreciate his aggressive nature and getting out there and wanting to restart. He's the leader of the race, and we're not talking about a huge amount here once again, but NASCAR does have the rules, and they'll give him this time, but he better make sure that he's right there. And this will give Regan Smith, too, if they understand that he got this warning, then he's going to be better prepared. Even though Regan did a great job on the restart, he's going to know where he's going to have to do it this next time. He's going to be a little bit more cautious, give Regan a little bit better chance.
And to your point, when you have drivers like Alex Tagliani who race in a variety of series, sometimes at the drivers' meetings, you will hear them ask very straightforward questions. And you're like, surely he knows that. But he needs that reminder to say, okay, all right, that's different to the other series that I've just come from, which makes complete sense. Have a listen to Tagliani at the restart. So here's a different one, Mr. Jarrett. Did Regan Smith suck him into going early?
No. But Alex was doing his job of letting Regan Smith get out there, because once he gets out there, Regan Smith can't restart this race. So he has to back up. So he knows that when he gets there, then he's going to have to let off. When he lets off the gas, then I take off. And so it's gamesmanship. That's what you do. You play games on these restarts. It goes all the way back to where we all started on short tracks and trying to make the best restart we could possibly get. And that was just a game. He played it perfectly, albeit it was a little bit early. He got away with it this time. Just be within the box this next time.
Now that you've stopped driving, you're in the Hall of Fame, you can relax. What was your best trick? What was your best gamesmanship?
Oh, that was the best thing that you could do, was let that driver get out there just a little bit, because he knew that he couldn't beat you and take off before you when you were the control car and the leader there. So once you let him get out there, you knew that he had to back out of the gas, and when you could see him let off just a little, then you take off.
Quick reminder about the Sprint Cup Series race right here on NBCSN tomorrow from Michigan. It's at 1:30 Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on your home of motorsport, NBCSN. That's a great view of the beautiful day that we have enjoyed here at Mid-Ohio. And it's not just NASCAR Xfinity racing here. There's a multitude of categories here. So it's been a great motorsport weekend for the folks here in the Buckeye State, as we kind of rub our hands together and we get ready. Hopefully we'll see green next time by for a 3-lap dash to decide who wins round 21, the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 here at Mid-Ohio. Will it be the obvious man out in front and who seems to have been the strongest all weekend? Alex Tagliani. He got championship regulars right behind him and championship contenders and leaders. Chris Buescher, Regan Smith, Ty Dillon. There's a lot on the line here today. So a lot on the line personally for Alex Tagliani, a lot on the line for Roger Penske, because that 22 team leads the owners' points. You can go all the way back on how significant today is for a good variety of these drivers.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace, we saw earlier, get off track. He's back up in the 8th spot, having a nice day here. How about the next two guys, though? Those top 8, we would expect to be kind of running in that top 8 or certainly in the top 10. But then Jeremy Clements in the 51 car in 9th spot, and Dylan Lupton in the 10th spot. He's done a great job with this 25 car today.
Look there at the Zaxby's 25, Dylan Lupton, the 21-year-old Californian. He's only had 5 NASCAR Xfinity Series starts before. This one will be a high one. Well done.
Yeah, Brendan Gaughan made his way back. We saw him earlier back, 2 or 3 cautions ago, come in and get 4 tires. Made his way back towards the top 10 there. And then Ryan Sieg right there with him in the 39 car. Excellent run for Ryan today.
You get back to guys who have had a pretty colorful day, to say the least, behind Ryan Sieg. And right there, the 88 of Ben Rhodes qualified, made it through to the final round of qualifying. And then Daniel Suarez in the 18 Aris machine for Joe Gibbs Racing. It was a day that promised so much, and it all went away with just a little hiccup, a contact in pit lane with Eric McClure. Chris Buescher was rushing him, by the way, as well. Lights are out on the pace car. I guess I dare not say for the final time?
No, not at all. No, we've set a record at 8 cautions, and we're probably just going to add to that here before this is over. But it's going to be some fun racing to watch when we try to get to that.
NASCAR Xfinity Series racing here on your home of motorsport. Let's get ready to go. Alex Tagliani, Regan Smith. We hit the repeat and re-roll. Let's go again at Mid-Ohio.
See, Regan knew where that line was, and he wasn't going to try to go before that, able to stay side by side, but no. Tagliani, what a great move right there.
Look at Ty Dillon in the 3. draws alongside Chris Buescher. Now Buescher will have the better line in the run-up to 2. Let's keep it all together, boys. Look at that yellow car a little further back. Dylan Lupton. Nice work in the 25, so this is a little more orderly. No craziness here, and it's a drag race down the back between Chris Buescher and championship contender Ty Dillon.
Yeah, Buescher's going to have the preferred line now as they get down to turn 4 here.
Just 24 points between these two drivers for first and second in the championship, and this is a great one from Dillon. He's brought great form into this round of the championship, and he's continuing it, showing that he can cut it on road courses. It was a top 5 result for the 3 last week at Watkins Glen. Bubba Wallace, Jeremy Clements going side by side through turn 6.
It looked like Jeremy Clements is going to make that pass stick.
Chris Buescher is not pleased about losing that spot, and look at him rough Ty Dillon up. Just a couple of taps to get him off balance.
In your tracks, half back.
Yeah, this is a part of the course that there's really not passing opportunities, but you can use that bumper and make passing opportunities if you choose to do that. Looks like that's what Chris Buescher is trying to do.
Less than 5 miles to run. Less than 5 miles between here and a victory for Alex Tagliani and Team Penske.
And what Alex is hoping right here is that everybody plays nice until they can get back around. He wants to see that white flag.
Oh, Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher had a little bit of wheel hop there. And that 60 Ford Mustang was sideways up into the keyhole. It was a good save.
You're way better than him. Let's go.
And we're going to see some last lap desperation moves. Here's Suarez working his way back into the top 10. He and Ben Rhodes go side by side, and Rhodes is hanging tough. Boy, this 18-year-old has been impressive.
Boy, he really has done a great job.
On your left. He's on your left.
Through turn 6.
Yeah, just what, I'm sorry, Lee, just what Ben Rhodes needed to do here today, though. He's been competitive. He had a little excursion off the track a little bit, but he's completing all the laps and getting some great experience.
Ryan Sieg and Jeremy Clements. You don't often see side by side through turn 9. That's a tight spot. Chase Elliott's making things interesting here for Chris Buescher. Meanwhile, they've lost touch with the top 2. It's all down to Alex Tagliani and Regan Smith with 1 to go. The white is out.
Yeah, that's the flag that he was looking for, because if something happens now, this race would be over if NASCAR threw the caution. So that's the one that Tagliani won. Now he's just got to complete these 13 corners.
Final time, the run up the hill. Look at the shenanigans going on in the background. Chris Buescher has to take that defensive inside line to keep the man who's only 24 points behind him in the championship away. Chase Elliott around the outside, out of the keyhole. Now it's a drag race between these two guys, Ford and Chevrolet, Buescher and Elliott.
Chase Elliott's been able to outbreak a lot of people down into this corner. Let's see if he can do it on that outside. Regan Smith right over the bumper of Tagliani, though.
If Buescher can hang tough here, this will be difficult for Chase Elliott. However, that being said, you can stay there and get the run up to turn 5, and that's what Elliott's done. Now Buescher will have the better and preferred line down into turn 6. Terrific driving from 2 super talented young drivers.
Oh, well, I did not think it was possible to go too wide through as many corners, but look at Regan Smith trying to get to the bumper here.
This is not over yet. Nobody's giving this race to Alex Tagliani. Most importantly, Regan Smith. He felt he was robbed of a good result last weekend. He knows he was robbed of a good result last weekend at Watkins Glen. And this, one last-ditched effort as he gives it to Alex Tagliani.
Oh, he knocks him out of the way.
He sent Alex Tagliani wide. Regan Smith right on the second last corner will win Mid-Ohio. A little bit of short track racing on a road course. And the 7 will drive to victory lane.
How about that move? What a great last lap by Regan Smith.
Junior Motorsports in victory lane. Regan Smith ends a 52-race winless streak and takes it away from Alex Tagliani. It's another runner-up for the Canadian. And on a weekend where he was embroiled in controversy last weekend in Watkins Glen, Regan Smith takes the 7 to victory lane. Did you expect that?
That was his only opportunity. That's not a passing spot there. The only way that you can do that and make a pass is to use the bumper. Regan Smith set it up perfectly.
Let's relive it. Let's look from above. Tagliani was a little wide there.
He
into
was,
12.
yes he was. Yeah, I think he got caught looking in the mirror maybe just a little bit, missed his line. Regan Smith took advantage of that opportunity.
Look at that. And it wasn't like it was a massive slam. It was just a little nudge.
No.
It was enough to just put Alex Tagliani off balance and grab that win. Look at this, the Penske guys. Oh no. Because they couldn't see around the corner at 12. They're saying, what happened? And the Tax Slayer boys at Junior Motorsports are saying, that's what we're talking about. What a week they've had. To stay back and rebuild that car, Jim, it was worth all the extra effort.
Jason Burdett is watching the replay. The look of astonishment on his face is about the same as everybody else's down here. Did you think that Regan had any kind of chance at Tagliani in the last couple of laps?
Well, you know, I knew if we could get there, I knew we could make something happen. You know, I mean that's just part of this road course racing. You know, if you can get there, come into the checkered, you got to take the opportunity.
After Watkins Glen, what does this mean to this team?
Well, I mean, I think just the whole season, it's been an up and down season. You know, we've had really good cars, and you know, we clawed our way back into the championship going into Watkins Glen, and then we had a fast car there. You know, things didn't go our way, but we came back this week. Everybody worked hard. We got to thank everybody at the shop. You know, they were at the shop Sunday morning. This is the car we ran at Watkins Glen. You know, they put a whole new body on it, and you know, they just did an amazing job.
Have a good trip to Victory Lane.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Jason Burdett, crew chief for Regan Smith.
And remember the bigger story. Regan Smith driving for his patient champion, little Laney Roll, the 9-year-old who suffers from dystonia, will be overjoyed. That's her design. Her favorite color is purple. Dave told us about it before, and all of the animals, the butterflies and giraffes, etc., on the 7 car. This one's for little Laney.
Yeah, what a fantastic job. She's going to enjoy this, and Regan Smith, being a father, he understands just how important this day is for him.
And the day that should have been, what could have been for Alex Tagliani on the second to last corner. It all got away. A terrific drive in the 22 Discount Tire Ford, but the win wasn't his today. Wonder what Tag's thoughts are. The runner-up here at Mid-Ohio today, and it all came down to this. Hello, I'm here, and I'm coming through. I race in this series full-time, and I'm going to take the W. My name's Regan Smith, and I'm driving to Victory Lane at Mid-Ohio. 3 years here in the Xfinity Series, 3 different winners. We'll hear from them when we come back. What a sight Mid-Ohio has been today in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200. And what a dramatic finish. What a dramatic week. Let's take you back to Watkins Glen International. See the black and white car? That's Ty Dillon. He hits the red car, the 7 of Regan Smith. And that was just the beginning of the New Yorkers' woes. That took him out of that. He and Brendan Gaughan got close in the carousel. 17 laps to go. The 7 was sideways and in the Armco barrier. Day got bad to worse, and then it went up a notch. Don't you do that to me, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit closer. Regan Smith was wild. He said, this guy, meaning Ty Dillon, effectively ended my championship chases. However, he had a little special treatment of his own.
Yeah, you can see Alex Tagliani in the 22, the leader, just overdrove that corner a little bit. Regan Smith saw the opportunity, a little bit of a bump, goes to Victory Lane.
Just like this. Regan had caught Alex really quickly on that last lap. The last quarter of a lap was something up with the 22. Was he out of his rhythm? Was he thinking about that checkered flag? Who knows? And look at that. The victory burnout on a super day for the children and the 10 patient champions. We're going to hear a whole lot more about that when we speak to Regan Smith. But for now, the runner-up. Alex?
Alex Tagliani from the pole to a second-place finish. You've had the opportunity to look at the replay. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, I'm very, very sorry for the whole Penske organization and the Discount Tire team. They did a fantastic job for me this weekend, and I really wanted to win for them so bad. If I knew that he was going to win like that, probably instead of passing him fair and square early on in the race, I would have probably pushed him off a bit. But you know, he knows I'm not going to be there next weekend to retaliate and to give him the payback. It's just really unfortunate to win like that, but also to see him celebrate after a win like that. I mean, just taking the point for his championship's okay, but celebrating like this, I mean, he knows that he was not going to win unless he was going to push us off.
Other than that, how flawless was this race car all day?
Yeah, pretty much flawless. We didn't really do any changes other than maybe a tire adjustment, you know, on the last stint. Like I said, the whole team did a fantastic job. It's always an honor to race for them. I'm really crushed inside to not have brought this win to the Penske organization. Hopefully you have another chance.
Alex Tagliani from the pole to a second-place finish. Jim?
Well, Alex, Ty Dillon finished one spot behind Alex Tagliani, but I'm going to guess in a much better mood. A very, very, very solid run for you today.
Yeah, it was definitely solid. Our Yingling Light Lager Chevy was good. We were definitely a top 5 car. We just we got a top 3, which was a great finish. I just hate we didn't have enough speed to get with the 22 and the 7. They were good there at the end. But proud of our effort, man. This is, I think, 3 top 5s in a row. This is what we need. Proud of Nick and all the guys. We got some good momentum going, and we'll be in victory lane soon enough.
All right, picked up some points on the championship leader. That's Ty Dillon in 3rd. On to victory lane.
And it's rocking down here, Jim. The crew has a nice shower for the driver, who did a fantastic job today. He wants to thank him. We told the story earlier, how hard they worked. Actually, Jason Burdett, the crew chief, told it again, how hard these guys worked to get you right here. Regan, what does it feel like?
It feels great. These guys worked their butts off all week. This car was destroyed, door tops down. They rebuilt it in one day. The guys back at the shop, phenomenal job. My road guys, they've stuck behind me for a while. We've had a lot of opportunities to win, and I hate doing that in the last corner, but it's been, what, about a year and 8 months since I last.
It's been too long.
Too long. It's been a long time. I wasn't going to pass that opportunity up. I've been wrecked so many times on these road courses that I had to do what I had to do right there, and didn't spin them. Just got the spot, and we're going to celebrate hard tonight. Happy to have, I got to mention, we got Nationwide Children's Hospital on here. Lainey is right over here somewhere. I told her before we started I was going to do everything I could to win the race today, and we're proud of that. Tex Slayer, a great partner at Junior Motorsports, that allows us to run this paint scheme and you know, show support to these kids. That,
here she comes.
They go through way more than any kid should ever have to go through. So we appreciate that. Appreciate Nationwide support to do this. Xfinity, great series. Dale, Kelly, Mr. H, they let me drive the race cars, and I'm very appreciative of it. I don't know what I'm doing next year yet at this moment, so hence the reason for the aggressive driving. I want those wins, but I can still get them.
Regan Smith, he got one today. He got it for Laney and the whole Junior Motorsports 7 team. He wins at Mid-Ohio, Lee.
And Dave, very straightforward explanation there from Regan Smith, and this is how he got it done. Last lap, second to last corner, he said, I could see that I could have the win. I wasn't going to spin Tagliani out, but I was going to just push him a little bit aside to make a clear passage to victory lane. Regan Smith in victory lane. How much can change in a week? From Watkins Glen to Mid-Ohio, from down in the dumps to standing in victory lane. The Junior Motorsports number 7 Tex Slayer team led by Regan Smith. How about that? Started 7th, comes up with the victory, breaks the tradition of having to start in the top 5 here to go to victory lane over Alex Tagliani, Ty Dillon, Chris Buescher, and Chase Elliott, the top 5s. What did you think about that, DJ?
Oh, what a fantastic race. Just great racing. We saw side-by-side racing in spots I had no idea they could run side-by-side through, but then a great pass. Regan Smith doing everything that he had to do at the end.
So, Chris Buescher keeps that 24-point buffer. And 25, back to Chase Elliott now. And Regan Smith slices 6 off the deficit. He was 57 coming into today, so he's done what he needed to do. And once again, we show you it all came down to this.
Yeah, it looks like Alec Tagliani was trying to protect that spot just a little bit. Got on the brakes a little hard there. Might have slid out. Regan Smith saw the opportunity to get to the back bumper. What a great pass.
I had this opportunity and I was going to take it. Hey, a reminder to stick around here on NBCSN. Coming up, it's Mecum Auctions. You'll get to see Steve McQueen's last special order car. Very cool, a 1976 Porsche Turbo. That's Mecum Auctions coming up next. Big day from Michigan tomorrow, and it all kicks off with NASCAR America at 1 o'clock Eastern. It's a big day for the Sprint Cup Series. We congratulate Regan Smith and say thanks for watching NASCAR Xfinity Series here on your home of motorsports, NBCSN.